So when we last left off, you had just had a grand snowball fight, and which turned into a horrible disaster towards the end of the day, as elemental chaos laid waste to much of the town, killing literally dozens and dozens into the hundreds of people. You guys had managed to survive after having fallen into a crevasse and into an underground labyrinth of basically part of the catacombs underneath the castle that also lead out to where the graveyard is. You picked up a rather interesting shield, and the rest of you managed to walk out with your lives. That was 5 years ago. During the final winter months preceding the elemental attack, the winter was hard. There were more people died from starvation and exposure, as basically homes and everything were just completely ruined, and the winter was particularly harsh. But in the end, as spring came in, the town set into rebuilding. Many of you helped out in this task, going about lending aid to any of those that you could potentially help, and have kind of gained yourself like a little bit of a reputation in town as being helpful individuals. Some of you a little bit more than others. I mean, the kids were helpful, but you were still kids. You were still kind of restrained by your commitments to family, and you're restrained by your age. Vicqinor had gone through and helped out quite a bit, you putting his locksmith skills to use to basically help fix things, though not particularly well suited to, say, building homes or whatever. His knowledge of tools did at least lend him some aid when it came to just generally helping out where he could. Also, he did make sure that everybody had new locks, and that their items were well protected, either by storing them in his own personal vault until they could be secured in their new homes, or by providing locks and what have you for chests, all completely free of charge. As the spring turned to summer and into fall, and the winter followed that, things slowly, ever so slowly, got back to normal. And now it is 5 years later. At the height of spring, the birds sing, the skies are clear and blue, and even though there's a chill wind that blows up off the ocean, even this late into the year, you guys would consider the temperatures quite warm. Kind of in the high 50s right now, so it's
for the area. This is pleasant.
This is pretty warm. Yeah. It's not too bad. I mean, it is May, so you got some time before the summer months hit, when it does actually kind of get a little bit warm from time to time. But it's pleasant. It hasn't been raining. Many of the farmers had their crops in. Lukien, you have kind of moved on from the farming life, becoming part of the town guard for a time, and then moving into being part of the actual military portion of what's in the keep. You have become a squire to one of the local lord, after having unsuccessfully entered one tournament, kind of overestimating yourself. After all, you'd never had any kind of real formal training, but you put on a strong enough show that one of the locals that did have formal training, Master Otto Richter himself, has basically took you under his wing and helped train you up in the arts of combat, how to properly don armor, use your shield, and then put you through a rigorous physical training course that helped trim your figure and add many extra pounds of muscle onto your frame. So now you're quite ripped, as one would say.
With a sword.
Though you still kind of find that in order to become a knight, you need to work a little bit on the courtlier side of things. But that's something that you've you're determined to work on to get over what they consider your country bumpkin roots to step up into more of a higher standing.
Got a list of what fork goes where.
Right. Kira, you spent those last few months after the attack aiding in the funeral rites for numerous people. Some you knew well, some you knew hardly at all, but you did your best along with your adopted mother, Edeltraud, to make sure that everyone received a good burial and due respects, seeing them off to the next life, whatever that may be for them. As the years progressed and you grew older, you took on more and more responsibilities within the town, as far as the caretaking of the cemetery and basically talking to people about making arrangements and everything to put their loved ones to rest. So you've kind of fallen more closely into the goings-on of that part of town.
Spent a lot of time talking to old people.
A lot of times talking to old people, visiting with those that have family that are sick or like just essentially on the verge of death. So you're constantly surrounded by that kind of morbid, dark life. Like death is constantly just kind of lingers around you. But that's okay. You happen to be close friends with death, as you have become a full-fledged cleric of
Historian.
Hystaria, which is basically the grave warden. He's the keeper of the dead and defender of wandering souls. You also, during this time frame, have kind of thrown yourself into learning local history, lore, different things. It started out as just kind of a thing where you were caught up in the various stories of some of the older folk that you would visit from time to time, and it just kind of developed into a interest in pretty much everything that consists of the town's history.
I'd like to think that some of the stories that she heard, she didn't necessarily believe, so she went to go do some fact checking,
Yeah.
which may have been Kurt's influence. Like, that didn't really happen. Like, no, it did. Look.
But yeah, so you've become quite the town historian. You still get some of the facts jumbled, but even if you don't know them completely, you definitely know somebody or somewhere that you can find said information. Part of that also kind of ties into Kurt, who, being the apprentice to the local wizard, the eldest at this point, has a knack for research and study. He enjoys it a great deal. You have also kind of lend help in the cemetery and stuff. You don't really deal much on the people side of it, mostly just the caretaking and just kind of checking the books, making sure everything's taken care of. Though it's not a money-making job line for your family, it is does require money to keep the cemetery going, and so you obviously, people get charged, so you kind of watch the books, help keep track of what's going on, kind of more on the accounting side of the cemetery as opposed to the physical upkeep, though you do a little bit of that as well. Your apprenticeship under Azariel has gone well. He has high praise for you. He thinks that you are going to be a brilliant wizard one day. That obviously you still have a lot to learn, but you were well on your path. He is a little disappointed that you didn't follow in his footsteps in the path of transmutation, but evocation is definitely a worthwhile venture.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But you and your sister spend a lot of time either hanging out with Lukien when he has time off, basically, hanging out in a couple of the local taverns. The Wolf and Shepherd is kind of your main go-to at this point, primarily because
We're adventurers.
Kira has a very strong interest in the various stories and stuff of the adventures, as does Lukien, kind of twofold. He's interested in their stories as far as like their adventures, and to kind of keep a wary eye out for those that might cause trouble in town. Now, Vicqinor has had to rebuild his shop as it was pretty badly damaged in the attack, but not so much so that it wasn't functional.
Right.
You just basically had to, once everybody else's homes were repaired and everything, a lot of people pitched in to help renovate and fix the overall structure of your place, basically set it straight on its foundations and everything.
That's much appreciated of them.
So you have though the building is still mostly its old original self, it does have some newer upgrades. The plaster on the wall is fresh paint and everything, new windows.
Gives it a modern look.
Yeah. So you have a very comfortable living arrangement. The shop at the bottom of the building is not particularly large. After all, you don't need a huge amount of space to show locks
No,
and that kind of thing. So most of the space on the first floor is taken up by your workshop in the back, basically where you make locks and that kind of thing. So there's a variety of tools, like a small forge, that kind of thing. That way you can curve latches and hasps and everything to make locks. So you've got require a lot more space in that area.
Yeah.
But your real love, your real passion is in the basement. In the basement you have a number of things that you keep kind of tucked away and locked away in varying chests, some of them hidden. One of which is a rather unique tetrahedron that you acquired during a small adventure that the four of you had just barely a month ago. You haven't had a whole lot of time to actually look into it. A lot of people, especially with the caravans and everything, starting to pick up, requiring a little bit more of your time. And replacing locks that have rusted or whatever over the winter and that kind of thing. Just essentially acquiring new mechanisms to protect goods that are going out on the road or out via the
You don't really have the time to just sit there and kind of focus on it.
Right, but you have a number of these little puzzles and things that you have collected in the basement of your place. It's also kind of a secondary workshop where you tinker around with things that are a little less legal. Mostly where you also keep in a safe that you have the schematics for pretty much all of the buildings in town.
Especially the ones that I helped out with.
Yeah, same thing with the locks and all that kind of stuff. Plus schematics for special locks that you constructed for the keep, for the cemetery, for the wizard's tower.
For the much more intricate ones that need higher security.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes people tend to get rid of those, but you held on to them primarily because if you need to repair them, these are very intricate designs, and having the actual schematics for them would be most helpful.
Not to mention unique.
Yeah. So the basement is basically where you keep some of the more special items. It's kind of like your private sanctuary.
Yeah.
Even though you do technically live on the second floor, which has a nice little balcony that overlooks Market Street, especially right there in the crossroads that you're sitting on. You're not up in the in Stromberg Circle, which is where, well, the best location would possibly be.
That's all right.
But you are in a very, very good location on Market Street, which is the main street that basically leads from the docks right up through the middle of town and ends at Stromberg Circle. And there's like a little crossroads there, and you're like have one of the little corner roads there.
All right.
So you were in a really good location.
Yeah, that's still a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah. And as you basically stand on the balcony, drink in hand, a cup of tea that you're just kind of sipping along. It's late in the afternoon. You've kind of gone ahead and locked up shop already. You don't get a whole lot of traffic in the afternoons. It's usually early mornings, early afternoon is when you get most of your work.
Makes sense. It's when people discover all their break-ins and such.
Also, you will occasionally see people by appointment. They're like, hey, I need to see you at such and such time.
Right,
But
if they're busy and, I have more free time, and they're like...
But you're sitting there on your little balcony overlooking Market Street. You see people going up and down the street, kind of managing their own business. Everybody seems to be in extremely good spirits. You haven't seen Lukien or the twins in about 2 days. Not completely uncommon. I mean, everybody has their own things to do.
Especially as we've gotten older.
Yeah, they're no longer kids. They have responsibilities and jobs of their own. But as you sit there and you finish your tea, you set it on its little plate back inside your apartment. Make your way downstairs. Check the interior of your shop one last time. You check the locks, make sure that the curtains are drawn, and then you make your way down into the basement. As you get down there, you light a couple of lanterns that you have that to basically kind of light up the corners, and then you have a lantern that you actually kind of carry around when you need specific light in an area.
That makes sense.
After all, lamp oil is not free, so. But you have it, and you kind of go over and you sit down in this really large, overstuffed chair that was part of the original furnishings when you moved into this place many, many years ago. And you just kind of kept it. It wasn't nice enough to keep in your apartment, but it was comfortable enough that being down here in this space, it worked well for you.
It's your grandpa chair.
Yep.
So, and sitting right in front of it on like a little bit of a desk is this tetrahedron. It is of a kind of a rosy red wood, highly polished, beautiful. And it's kind of odd in that particular regard because you found it in the husk of a long sunken vessel that had washed up during one of the storms. Everything else on the ship was just completely water damaged and had barnacles growing on it, was clogged with seaweed and various bits of coral and everything. But this odd little thing looks completely untouched and brand new. You kind of look at it, and it's 12 inches on an edge in a four-sided pyramid, basically, four-sided box. And it has scroll work in silver and gold, kind of all along the edges of it, and it's just these beautiful little, fanciful little swirls and curlicues and everything that just kind of go around the edges of it. And in the center of each side is a rat's head etched into the wood with a very simple crown slightly off kilter above its head. You had Kirk when you first found it, cast Detect Magic on it, and it revealed itself to actually be magical, though the nature of the magic didn't seem to be like what you would say like a sword or a ring or a staff that was something that you could use. The magic was contained for the item itself, for whatever the purposes of whatever the box is for.
Right.
He did attempt to identify, but all he got in return was odd laughter. Odd, squeaky kind of laughter. Almost as though the box was triggered in almost a comical fashion at the spell.
What a weird incident. Sorry about that.
But here you are, looking at the box. At least you're fairly certain it's a box.
Right. I definitely don't fully understand it. Can I run my fingers along it and essentially look for anything that might be like a button or something I could press, especially like near the rats?
Sure. You have done this before, but have come up empty-handed. But there is no reason why you can't check again. After all, that's the best puzzle boxes. You have to work them out, right?
Roll the dice.
So give me an investigation check.
Alright. 18 plus 7, so 22.
That's really good. You kind of running your fingers along the edges of it, looking for anything. You kind of around the edges of each of the rat heads, around the crown, along the scroll work around the edge of the triangular portions of itself, and you kind of almost give up. You're like, okay, I'm not finding anything new. But as you kind of run your finger around one of the crowns, one last time, you hear a slight click.
What happens?
Nothing at this point.
Does the panel
It does.
seem like it changed? Like it's removed?
Nothing physically changed,
But there was
but
definitely
there was an
a-
audible click.
I will definitely like move it around and look to see if anything's different about it.
Looking about, you see that even though it seems almost minuscule, but to your trained eyes, you see that the crown that you were messing with is just slightly, just a hair recessed into the wood itself.
Okay. I will turn it to one of the other sides and see if I can trace a crown on that one, if it'll do the same thing.
Okay, give me another investigation.
Ooh, that's even better. 25 this time.
Yeah, you kind of think back and try to mimic what you had done on the previous one. And there's a click. And again, even though you don't really, it's so
Just the tiny.
just the tiniest amount of change that you think most people wouldn't even, there's no way they would even be able to tell.
Well, that's why I have it down here. Most people aren't gonna figure it out. I guess I'm gonna continue trying to do that on each side that has a crown on it.
Okay, so you make your way around and you get to the final one, and you go through, and there's a click, and all of a sudden, bam! The box springs open. 3 of the sides kind of fall away, and almost kind of like making it into a single large flat triangle.
Definitely gives me a spook.
It does, especially as a large creature comes erupting out of the box. You see just a massive gray fur, long ropey tail, barren of any kind of hair. It's got 6 heavy legs as this large horse-sized rodent appears out of the box and turns at you, red eyes, and it just kind of hisses at you, and you notice that its front paws aren't paws at all, but strange, almost human-like hands.
Ooh.
And it is just massive.
Much bigger than myself.
Much, much larger than yourself. You just immediately think this thing's got to weigh 800-900 pounds.
Oh god.
And it is just this angry, hissing, snarling ball of fur and claws. What do you want to do?
I'll kind of just raise my hands like gently and slowly, probably without moving because I don't want to scare it. I guess and just come and say, I don't really know what happened, but I definitely don't mean you harm.
Okay. It lashes out at you with one of its claws.
Creepy human claw.
I know.
And we'll hit an armor class of 15.
Oh, that is my armor class.
It just kind of rakes out and slashes across you, and you just kind of duck barely out of the way, but you still take 5 points of slashing damage as it rakes its claws across your chest, and it just starts hissing and snarling, and see this white frothy drool kind of coming off of its jowls. Its eyes just kind of flash red.
I don't like what's going
You
on.
have just behind you, there's the stairs that lead out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't like what's going on. I think I want to leave.
Okay, so you take the chance and you turn and flee.
I mean, I would like to use my action to disengage for the sake of no opportunity of attack, but otherwise,
So
yeah.
as you both kind of pause, make eye contact,
Stop that.
and slam! You dash off just as it tries to like slash out at you, but you easily duck underneath the blow and dash your way up the stairs and slam the heavy iron door behind you.
Yeah.
Now, originally this thing was made to be barred from the inside, but there's definitely a lock on the outside, and you quickly turn the latch and pull the key out. As you see the door slam, you see little bits of dust kind of trickle out from the edges where the hinges attach to the wall.
Yeah, that's not going to hold that long.
And then it goes silent.
I need to find each of them. Would I know which one's going to be closer at the moment?
You can pretty much guess that at this time of day, if Lukien is not actually on duty, you'll most likely be at the Wolf and Shepherd.
Then yeah, I'm
It
hoping.
is roughly dinner time, so
I'm gonna go straight there then and try and hope he's there like he usually is, because whatever this is, I need help.
all right. So as you step out into the street, we turn to you, sitting at a familiar wooden table. Has a bit of names scratched into the surface of it. Has your name, Kira, Kurt, and Vic. Not his full name, just Vic, kind of scratched into one of the
Caesar heart.
one name into each of the four corners of this table. You're sitting there. You've got a plate in front of you that's got kind of some, at this point, kind of dry bread. It was from this morning that they just kind of went in and gave to you to go with this large bowl of stew that they served you. You don't make a huge amount of money being a squire, but you make enough, and you have enough friends here that you get a pretty good discount when you come here to eat food. So you're sitting there and you're eating and everything. You got you just finished your second tankard of ale, and you look across the table where you see Kurt sitting, kind of flipping through his book, which is fairly common. He has, over the years, not changed a whole heck of a lot. He's a bit taller. He's still kind of on the thinner side. His one horn, the one little stunted horn, never actually grew in. So he has just this one very thick and healthy looking curved horn that kind of wraps out from his forehead, and then one little stub of a horn. Sharp, you've touched it before, you know that it's actually relatively sharp, but it's only maybe 1.5 to 2 inches in length. Next to him, currently braiding a flower crown out of some old flowers that she's gotten off of one of the grave markers, slowly braiding it into a crown, is Kira.
Oh man, work was so tough today.
Did you have to lift a lot of things?
Well, mostly my horse did, but
You had to lift your horse?
yeah. But I'm getting pretty good at it, been practicing a lot. I don't know if, is that Kurt over there, Kira? Is he right there?
That's Kurt over there. Have you looked under the table? She tries to flex, there's nothing there. She got little noodle arms.
What
I
you
flip
reading
a
off?
mage hand and make it flex.
We got a little goth waif over here.
But I am not always food. It's different. I will finish the flower crown and I'll reach over and I'll put it on Lukien's head. I adjust it so there's like this kind of sad little tiger lily, but it's in the front, but it's a tiger lily.
Yeah.
It's fierce.
What you reading over there, Kurt?
Going through some spells that Zario wanted me to take a look at and figure out alternate uses for. It's like a thought experiment.
So like you could read people's minds?
No, not like. No, it's like taking standard spells and trying to find new ways to use them. It's not mind reading spells. A thought experiment is not a spell. It's an experiment using your mind to figure out new ways to do things.
Okay, so like making a fireball, but with like ice.
It could be one way, or like the ways to shape fireball, or use it for something other than burning.
Or to make it
things.
purple. You should tell him that's a good idea. That was my idea. Put that in your notes.
Kurt, if you can control water, can you control water that are in people's bodies?
Yeah, like all of the beer that Lukien's drinking.
Like, make it come up so I can drink it again.
Well, I don't think that would taste good.
No, spells generally have limitations like that. Bodies are, I don't know, magic is seeped into them, it seems like, and it dims that.
Yeah, I'm pretty magical.
Alright, you guys know better than this.
At this point, you see a kind of bedraggled Vic come staggering in the door, kind of look around and see you sitting at the usual spot. He kind of comes over. You see that there's a little bit of blood on his fingers and a little bit from his chest.
Which I had forgotten about because
What happened?
well, first off, I was right. That thing did open up. Second off, there was some weird, like, big rat creature with some, didn't have paws for hands. I don't know. It had weird hands. Anyways,
There's a
in my basement.
Alright.
monster.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Kurt packs his stuff,
Sure.
he just starts walking off towards your
Yes.
truck.
I'm gonna
Please,
grab
let's go.
her arm and cast healing word.
Okay.
Okay.
So you will heal.
It's arranged.
It is, but she likes she doesn't like
It's the
testing.
personal comfort.
4 shit, I don't know what my skills do. 24 plus my wisdom, right?
I think
Yeah.
that's all I
Okay,
got.
so 7 points back.
I'm only missing 5, so don't worry.
Alright, mark off that spell slot.
Thank you, Kira.
Alright, so you tell them the story on the way back
Yeah.
towards the.
Yeah.
Okay, but it had 6 arms?
I think, but I mean everything happened so fast. I'm not
Was
sure.
it wearing a crown?
I'm
The one on the one on the
pretty-
triangle.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. The whole point of the puzzle revolved around the crown, so he had to have had a crown.
You don't remember actually. seeing
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't remember, but he had to have. It's the only thing that would have made sense.
Hasn't
Does
hurt, right?
any of this
Anything
make
about
sense, really?
Yeah, especially with
that's
Give me
what the
a Arcana check.
and that thing was bigger than
See
me.
how much research you actually did on it over the past month.
18.
18. You have done a little bit of research. Part of it, you realize you've actually found sketches of similar items in some of the books, but nothing that really matched what you had. Like there was none that had like a rat's head with a crown or anything like that, but a similar box design, and apparently it's fey in its overall nature.
Okay. Well, that would explain the laughter.
Fae are all about tricking people, right? And making them do like
certain,
deals and stuff.
certain kinds of fae, not all fae.
I've heard you're supposed to throw salt at it. if it comes out here.
Iron.
Or,
How about iron?
yeah, because they don't like iron, but salt, they have to count it. I don't know
We
if a
have
rat
to-
can count them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we have other things to go to.
Sure,
and
you're
I
pretty
don't
sure
know
none of
which one.
this.
Fairy tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's in the basement.
When I
And there's
left
only
it
the
was-
one entrance and exit at the top of your stairs, right?
Yeah, unless it dug, but I don't know, it didn't have digging claws. It has
You should
weird,
go first so you can shove it down the
weird
stairs with your
hands.
shield.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, I am going to assume that most of you are not actually dressed to be adventurers today. It's not exactly what you would wear for common dealings.
I think he would be in his
Yeah, well, he might be, but
Yeah.
that there are others here.
Me? No.
I
I
would
have my stuff, it's my
I would say I
shop.
always have my spell book.
Just have your spell
Yeah.
book.
Well, wizards kind of.
And then of course I don't need accoutrements outside of that really to.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Well, if there's anything you guys need, I would say make it quick before we go, because I
did
like
you need to grab
this.
anything before we take a look at this?
I think that for the safety of the town, that we should get in there as quick as possible. I'll try and stay back though.
Okay.
That
Some
way.
of the weapons and armor for you.
I have my spells, and I will grab a dinner platter. On the way through Vic's kitchen, which, as a player, I recognize does not give me any sort of armor bonus, but as a character, she's pretty sure it counts.
Plus 3 wisdom. I think we might.
I don't know, it's
Yeah.
wisdom versus intelligence.
Either way.
Intelligence tells you that that's a dinner platter. Wisdom tells you that it's not going to protect you in the same manner as a shield.
Yeah, but I don't want to go all the way back to the house. I'm the only one holding us up.
But you don't have to. You just won't grab a dinner platter.
And it's not like it's super far to go home.
Do you have like a dagger or something?
I'm sure I have one
Yeah,
at the
I have a
house.
dagger.
Okay, I'll take an extra dagger and we'll be good. We can do this.
I don't know how much of a difference that will make, but alright.
Alright, so you guys make your way over to Vic's house. I assume that you will go upstairs and actually get your stuff.
Yes, I would love to, because I was greatly underprepared when that happened. Oh,
Alright, so you get your armor and your weapons and any gear that you feel that you might need.
I will assist him in the getting dressed process.
which I
Does it
did
cut
not
down the
need,
time?
but thank you.
Well, it cuts down on the time.
Sure. I think we spent more time with me being like, hold on, I can do this, so
No, I got it.
yeah,
That's a leg pad.
thanks.
Is you get dressed, check your equipment, you have your gear, you do a quick mental assessment of the spells and your components that you have with you,
Yep.
and you in your regular dress make your way over to the heavy iron door that marks the entrance into Vic's basement.
Before we open the door, can I cast, let's see, I think it'll make
Lukien,
it.
you have armor. Get in
And I'll
front.
cast mage armor on myself.
Okay.
I'll stand in front.
And I'll give you the key to the
Why is
door.
it detect undead a spell?
Because it's a thing that you can do as a class.
It's a
Okay, then I would like to do that. I was checking to see if
It's
there was.
Eyes at the Grave. It's not
Yeah.
a spell. You
Well,
wrote it under your spell so that you
It
remember
used to be a
that
spell, to be fair. Detect undead. I want to see if the giant.
there's no undead.
Okay. Well, it's
I already
worth
said
check.
it was fey.
Okay. The cube was fey. It might be a zombie rat.
I never modeled that fight.
So mark off the usage of that.
Okay. I get it 3 times a day. All right.
I'll put him in front and give him the key.
I'll stand back next to Kurt.
Okay.
So I'll hold my shield up, kind of like where I know that the door is gonna open, and put my shield against it, and I'll unlock the door.
Okay.
Do I hear anything? So I'll slowly open the door, lowering the shield so I can see down the stairs.
And it's just darkness down there.
Okay. Hey Vic, I need a light.
Hey Kurt, I need a light.
I can do it! And I will cast light on. Yeah, pull out a copper piece. That's a good idea. Cast light on a copper piece and I'll go fling.
Fling it, and you hear it clatter down the stone stairs and in somewhere inside the chamber. Peering in, what light you now have, it's kind of slightly shadowed because of where it landed, but you can kind of get a good look in and you don't see any movement, but you smell something. It smells really rancid. And you kind of give me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Nice.
You kind of smell, and you're like, okay, I recognize this smell. It's kind of hard to forget. It smells like a privy. It smells kind of like the outhouses, where.
Oh, I guess we gotta head down there. But it doesn't smell very good, so put your cloth or something.
I whisper to Grimstone, my little rat, and I send him down to take a look.
His name is Brimstone.
Grimstone.
Brimstone, that's so cute.
Alright, so the rat kind of scurries down the stairs. Is he stealthing? Is he just going down?
I'll try and stealth him.
Okay.
10.
10. Alright, so he kind of bounces down the steps, looks around. Give Grim a perception check.
I'm gonna roll advantage because he's got advantage on smelling only. So I'm gonna have one dice be his normal and then the second dice be an advantage roll in case it's better. Black will be normal roll. It was cocked. So he has a 17 on normal and a natural 20 on smelling.
He smells it too. Are you using your ability to basically go through his senses, or is he just doing this on his own?
I can't hear. I'll just have him do it on his own right now. Because I can still communicate with him telepathically for like 100 feet, right? So.
You get the sense that he doesn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
It smells bad down here, and he sees. Doesn't so much see, but he can smell other rats.
Okay.
But he doesn't see anything.
All right. I'll pop into his vision real quick and see if I can see anything through it.
Okay, so he's kind of just down at not quite the bottom step, up just a little bit, kind of looking at the room. And scanning through the room, you see on the far side from where you're at, where there would normally be a stone wall, is now kind of a dugout tunnel that goes slightly down and into the earth a little bit. And you can, the smell is coming from there, and you immediately know that this thing is entered into the sewers.
Okay. So I pop back out. I was like, it broke through the wall down there. It's in the sewers, that's why we can smell this. Kira, I think you should go get your stuff.
I don't think this is gonna be as quick and easy as you hope.
It's escaped into the sewer.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna
Since
be
it's in the sewers, I think this is more of a city guard thing. We need to let the city guard know what's going on.
Well, if
What
you're-
are we gonna tell them? That I accidentally released some weird rat creature? And what do we have for evidence? A hole in my wall?
5 years ago, the town got ripped apart by elementals. I don't think it'll surprise them.
You're not wrong there.
Plus, you can blame it on the arcane artifact.
I mean, that's what happened.
You were working on a lock, and then it opened, and then there was a thing. There's no way you could have known that that thing was inside that thing.
I
'Cause that
could
thing
have
was
been
that big.
smarter about it, I guess. I don't know. I feel guilty for it. Who knows what damage it caused.
Who wants to come with me to go get my stuff?
Well, I think Vic should stay here.
That's fine.
It is your house.
Yeah.
Maybe lock your basement back up. And
Yeah, let's see if I can try and at least cover this hole up.
I hope your chair doesn't
Lukien, if you want to if you feel that strongly about it, you can go alert the guard, and then
We can tell
we'll
them
come
right.
back with Kira's equipment. We can go explore and take care of this thing before it gets any worse.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Alright, so closing the door, you two take off to run home for Kira's gear.
Here, take my horse a bit faster.
Okay. This will be fun. Alright.
Yeah. Handle animal check.
At least it's wisdom.
What's your horse's name?
Sandra.
Sandra? Okay. Come on, Sandra Dean, we can do this. And I will attempt to ride the horse. What is handle animal? It's wisdom, right?
Yep.
Handle animal's not a thing anymore.
Animal.
Yeah,
It's right there on the
it's a
side.
second.
Oh, that's what for handle animal. Okay. I didn't do too bad. I got a 15.
Okay. Yeah, the two of you ride back towards the house.
This is so
Meanwhile,
cool.
what are you doing?
I'm going to check. Is there like, how does the sewer system work here? Is it like manholes, like in a city, or is there like?
There's really not manholes. There are basically storm drains, basically, where there's like iron grates that are set up so that any like heavy rainwater or anything can basically get into the sewers. But there's nothing that would open up.
So
There's a primary entrance into the sewers for anybody that needs to go down there and do work or whatever. But generally speaking, it doesn't just have like manhole covers.
okay. Is there like a main drainage like out into the ocean or?
It actually drops off into a pit underneath the town. There's actually a really old set of caverns and stuff that it just kind of goes off down into that.
Okay, so I'll turn to Vic, and say you want to head towards the service entrance, and we'll because if there's only really one way in or out of here, we gotta head there, and then maybe we can either catch this thing coming out or alert people along the way. That will help us to secure the entrance at least while we go down.
That's not a bad idea. Let's, I'll try and cover up this hole down here. If you want to still tell the guard, we can, and then when they get back, we can do that as a whole group. Seem
Okay.
like a good plan?
Sounds good.
Alright, so you're going down into the basement?
Yeah, and I'm gonna inspect the hole to see if it's something we can get through, or if that's gonna be like an
So
awkwardly tight
you're
fit.
going down into the basement, you kind of walk over and you see this hole about 5 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. That just kind of burrows through the ground and then through the rock and into the sewers itself. You can't quite make out, with your dark vision, you can kind of see where it enters into the sewer about 10 feet beyond the wall. Actually, about 15 feet beyond the wall.
Does it look like it's like a drop off, or is it just more kind of an angle?
Kind of an angle.
Well,
You can easily walk
yeah, I was gonna
standing
say, if
straight
we
up
can
through this
easily
hole.
fit through this, I might not cover it up, and I might be till everyone gets back, and we might just go in this way and follow them.
Both of you give me perception checks.
We'll stay on guard though.
14. No, 13. Sorry, 13.
Perception +2, 19.
Okay.
Yeah, 19.
As you're kind of looking at that, you're kind of look around and you see the box laying on the floor. And inside the box, you see that there is a letter stuck with a little bit of wax to the very bottom of it.
I'm gonna go up to it. Do I recognize the wax at all? Is it in like a seal at all, or is it just sealing it? Sorry, like a house seal or something.
No, it's like a glob of wax and the letter is just sitting on top of it, basically to keep the letter from moving around in the
Oh,
box.
okay. Sorry, I thought it was more the seal. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there, take it out, and look at it.
Okay. It is in Elvish.
Okay. Well, I do read Elvish, so that's fine.
I feel like that's kind of a jam.
Do you want to do them while I'm reading this? Or are you waiting?
You, as he's looking at that, you kind of listen and you hear chittering and scraping.
Vic,
Hmm?
I think we might need to go.
Alright, I'm definitely gonna take the letter with me and follow him, I suppose.
We'll slowly back out of the tunnel.
Okay, you slowly back out of the tunnel. You see these rats about the size of a small dog starting to kind of like, at first you just see their eyes. And you can see them kind of edging their way through the tunnel into the basement area. About a half dozen of them.
Vic, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go.
Okay, and then I'll just rush out.
Okay, so you guys go back upstairs and
Yeah, and relock it.
meanwhile, you guys get home, gather up your stuff, put on your armor, go out, climb back up on the horse, give me your animal handling check.
16!
Alright, and you ride
17.
back to Vic's place. And stand there outside of it with a horse.
I will tie her to the doorknob, and I will go in the house.
Okay.
Alright,
Probably just at least.
You see them come in.
Well, that way she can come inside if it starts raining.
That's true. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Bye, Sandra.
Vic won't appreciate it.
did you go to the guardhouse then, or?
No, Vic went downstairs to go check out the tunnel, so I went with him, and it turns out there's about a dozen or so giant rats down there that,
Like giant rats or like giant rats?
dog-sized rats.
So we have many medium rats and one giant rat.
Yeah.
I feel like his rat sets the scale for giant now.
Kurt, do you read Elvish at all?
Yes, I do.
Here, this letter was left over in the trap. Take a look at that. It's a little interesting.
Dearest Tal Syrin, I hope that you forgive my little prank. I know how much you hate rats, but I could not resist. The ring you asked for is contained inside the beast. Happy
I
hunting.
think was the giant thing. that
Your
came
friend
out.
Aelithin. P.S. The command word for the trap is Zawinor.
Shh, don't say it out loud.
Interesting.
I would like to
Yeah.
make a local history check to see if I recognize any of the names from the letter.
Go ahead.
See if it's anybody I recognize.
Yes.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Oh, jeez.
That would be a history. That'd be an 8.
Yeah, no, you don't recognize the names.
13 for me? Yeah, no, that's okay.
Sounds like there's something in the rat.
Yeah, I think it was in, I would guess the big one that came out and did well this, and I'll point at the leftover wound.
Looks like a cool mark on your armor though.
Yeah, now it does.
So should we take the box with it? Maybe if we throw the box at it, it'll go back inside. Like a trap?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably.
Box down there with
It
rats.
does say it's a trap too.
Well, we should take care of the rats anyway, so we should open the door and do some pest control.
Sounds like a
That sounds so
plan.
cool.
I need to keep my shop up and running. The last thing I need is pests stealing locks and or making
You said there was a
nested-
hole in the wall?
It's more of like giant rat-sized hole.
Yeah.
And you'll have to fix that.
Yeah, trust me. That's why we're gonna go down there though.
Alright. Can I have, I think it's Sanithar's, the one that has Word of Radiance in it? Okay, so this time I have my armor.
D6 plus your spellcasting modifier, radiant damage to every creature in melee with you.
Okay, I just want to write it down on my sheet, that way I've got it for quick reference.
I think that's a saving throw.
Yeah. So we've got, everybody's got their armor on. And I left a note for Ada, just so she knows.
That's good. It's good that someone would know where we are in the event that we don't come back. They'll just show up in my basement, find a hole there, and be like, wonder what happened here.
Right in the middle of
You
there.
said your door locks from the inside?
Hi.
The one that goes down to the basement?
Yeah, it locks from both the inside and the outside. It's just I tend to work from inside my basement, so it has a nice lock on the inside.
Is there a key for it?
Is it a key lock or is it more of like
Well,
a
it has a
bolt,
key
like
lock
spinner?
and a bolt on the
Yeah, I was
inside.
gonna say, or is it more of a bolt? So I guess
So you
it's
can't lock it with the key from inside the basement, right?
Tunnel, sewer.
Yep.
pretty sure I have a key for both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we leave it with Sandra? Or maybe upstairs so that if someone comes along and needs to get inside to
Or
help?
we don't lock it.
But we don't want what's down here to get out if it comes behind us, right?
I mean, I kind of agree with her on that one. I was thinking
Well, I mean, it
about
busted through a big, thick stone wall, and that door is not gonna stop it.
Or the wood around it.
Yeah,
It's a
I guess
very nice
for the
door,
sake
though.
of not damaging my door, I will leave it unlocked.
Okay. You
I
said
will.
it had 8 hands, so it could probably open it.
6, I
6,
think.
yeah, 6 hands.
Still more than necessary.
More than that.
Huh.
Alright, so you make your way down in the basement. What's your marching order? Who's going first?
I'll go first.
I would like to go second.
Oh,
Okay.
I would like to take the rear.
I was going to go here for a second. I guess I will be right back here.
Alright, so you come down.
If you want second, I can take third. I don't know.
I just assumed you would rather be closer to Kurt. Oops.
I do like Kurt. So yeah, I'll be third.
Okay. So Vic is second.
You kind of come down a set of stairs this way, and you come walk out. And you see the large hole over there, and about the room, kind of rummaging through things and generally making a horrific mess, are rats. Large, smelly, disease-infested creatures that might pose a slight problem.
Slight problem.
Going down there, though, you are going to need to roll initiative.
Yes. First,
Finally got a crappy roll.
20.
Vicqinor,
7.
Lukien,
My familiar has a 2.
You that's a 2.
alright. Rat Boys.
13.
13. Do you need more than one?
No.
Okay. Kurt, you're first.
So here, are the stairs like open? Like, can you actually see off of them? Okay. So I'm just gonna look at that nearest rat and I'm just gonna try and firebolt it.
Alright, go for it.
No. It's an 8. That's not gonna hit.
Yeah, you fling a firebolt at it and it just kind of scorches the stone floor near where it was as it kind of hops just to the side a little bit
Yeah.
and screeches at you.
And I have no interest in wanting to move closer, so
Yeah.
that'll be it.
Rats and the bad guys. Kira will allow the rats to approach before taking her turn.
You said rats and the bad guys. You didn't say your name at all.
Kira and the bad guy.
So we know who the big bad is.
Her intelligence is way off on me.
Alright, so 4 of the rats will go running up to attack. They're at the foot of the stairs. So you've got 4 rats run up to you as you were there. Basically, you were the first one at the bottom of the steps.
Yeah.
So the first one will hit an armor class of pack tactics. Alright, so the first one will hit an armor class of 21.
Hit.
And the second one will hit an armor class of 20.
Hit.
The third one will hit an armor class of 12.
Miss.
And the fourth one will hit an armor class of 16.
Miss.
Twice. So 3, 7 points of piercing damage.
Alright. So after the rats, are the other ones gonna move up at all?
No.
Okay, they stay there. Alright. Kira will. Let's see. So this one is in this square. So I'm gonna move through Vic's square, just kind of like duck underneath his arm.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15. Get between the rats and my brother, and I will pass Word of Radiance. So they will need to make, 2 rats will need to make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw.
One will pass, the other will fail.
Okay. If they take half.
Nope.
Nope, just cantrip.
It's
Okay,
all
so
or
the one
nothing.
that fails will take 4 points of radiant damage.
4 points of
Does it
damage.
have a plus or is it just a straight d6?
I'm pretty sure it's just a straight d6, but I'll
It
double
is.
check.
Can I
Yeah.
have one of the cards? Did you have that?
Yes. Okay, so after Kira, it is Vicqinor with Brimstone on deck.
I'm gonna pull up my crossbow, and seeing as they're all engaged with Lukien, I'm gonna shoot at the farthest one over here in the corner.
Okay.
We got 14 plus, what do we got, plus 6, so a 20 to hit.
That will hit.
And then it's considered sneak damage because he's engaged. Light crossbows into 8. So it's gonna be 12 plus 4, 16 points of damage.
So you skewer that rat and blood and guts go across the floor, and as it trembles and just kind of falls dead. Pull that
It's
one
for
out.
ruining my basement.
You bastards.
There's not a lot of confidence behind that.
Grimstone.
Alright,
Lukien up next.
he's gonna run down here and basically, this one. He's gonna aid, whoever attacks this one will get advantage on it.
Okay.
He's gonna use the help action to
Okay. Cool.
basically make it hard.
Just gonna get into a
Gonna be some
fight
rat,
with the rat.
some rat and rat action. They can,
Okay, so I will turn to that rat and I will give a slight nod to Grimstone and attack the rat that he's helping attack. So, 18 plus 6, 24.
Yep.
So that rat will take 7 points of damage.
Alright. That rat, you skewer it, splitting it mostly in half and scattering its body across the floor.
it is also
We're gonna eat good tonight, guys.
gross.
Yeah.
Initiative. Yeah, I figured the winter after the elemental attack, we probably ate some weird shit. Kurt.
19,
Grimstone.
16,
Vicqinor.
12.
Lukien.
4.
Oof.
Rats.
8.
Alright. Kira is first. She will step into the spot where the rat was just skewered and point at the rat, the one of the gross dog rats, and say, "You don't belong here! Kind of!" And they have to make a Constitution saving throw. She tries to cast Word of Radiance again.
Okay.
Because
There's
two of them.
Two. One pass, one fail.
Okay, so the one that fails takes 6 points of damage! Radiant light damage!
So there are now 2 injured ones.
well I think, oh that's one of the ones that you got before. We don't know if that one was injured.
So the one that failed last time, was it the one closer to me or further from me?
I can't see them. The one furthest from you.
Okay, so that one would be the same one that
That
just
just
took
took
damage again.
Okay, so it is dead. So instead of there being 2 injured one, there's now 1 dead one.
Yes. Okay. After Kira, it's Kurt.
Alright, so
Grimstone up next.
he's just gonna try and firebolt this rat that's still engaged with Lukien right now. Jesus, natural 1.
Oh.
Alright, so Grimstone with Vicqinor up next.
Alright, so Grim is going to go up and help on this other, do the help action against this other rat. So whoever
Beautiful.
attacks it next is going to have advantage.
It's a bad sign.
It's gonna be me.
As I forgot to last turn, I'm gonna reload my crossbow. And we're gonna fire again. Wow, thank God for that advantage. So 4 and a 7. So 13 to hit.
That will hit.
Yes. Measly little.
So you made your mini with a longbow, but then you decided to take a crossbow as your
I have a
actual-
crossbow at the moment.
He has a hand crossbow, right?
No, it's a light crossbow at the moment, but yeah. I still need to get a hold of a longbow.
You should have
They're-
had a long.
They're
I have a
really
short
expensive
bow.
though. Like for starting player gold, they're pretty expensive.
I think
It's 100 gold for a long
Yeah,
one.
he has that.
13, yeah, I didn't think about it at the
Should
moment.
have had 350 gold.
13 plus 4, 17 damage.
Dead!
Yeah, annihilated.
Ultra dead.
And you guys are next! Well, actually, after Vic, they are next.
Yeah, they are.
Alright,
Cool.
so, because I can't see them.
There are 4 left.
Alright, so this one kind of comes scurrying around and climbs up the wall up to the stairs and is now behind you.
Oh, interesting.
This one,
I just overlooked it. It's the same amount of damage. We're just gonna pretend I've had a longbow the whole time.
I like that thing.
I'll adjust my roll accordingly then.
I felt bad. I was like, oh my god, I totally painted it like a longbow, not a crossbow. And I was like, this is the way you don't get it.
That's because it is a longbow.
alright, so Lukien, you have 2, Kira, you have 1, and you have 1.
Okay.
John, this one's not in base contact with anyone?
Right.
So
No, it moved as far as
okay,
it
there's
could.
one
Yeah,
there. I
okay.
didn't see that one,
Nope.
sorry. Okay,
Wait a minute, where's your rat?
My rat is actually right here.
he doesn't have a mini
Okay, so
foot.
he could not have gone there, right?
So he's gonna be attacking the rat.
You can
Yeah.
put something for Brimstone.
Sorry, the rat's on my mini's person.
Yeah, it's fine. I just remember, we need to paint you up a separate familiar mini for it.
We have plenty
So-
of rats, we just have to take one.
On Kurt, it is by itself, so it does not get pack tactics. We'll hit an armor class of 17.
Yeah, that still hits.
3 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then the one on Kira. We'll hit an armor class of 14.
It's a miss! I will deflect it with my shield and kind of boop its snoot as I do. Yes!
And then against Brimstone. Oh, that is a 20 to hit.
Damn!
Yep.
You will deal 4 points of piercing
He
damage.
poofs out.
And he's like disappears and the rat's like looks around a little confused.
Little
And
mad.
then on Lukien, the rat will hit an armor class of 15.
This.
Snipping away at your boots but can't get through the leather.
Das Boot.
Das Boot. Lukien's
What about a
turn.
boat?
I'm in my boot.
Attempt to hit the one that just hit me, or try to hit me.
Good.
25.
That will hit.
For 7 damage.
And it's dead.
Chris Platt.
Gross, but yes.
Alright. After Lukien, it's initiative.
Natural 20.
Very nice.
No twice.
Oh, cool. Kurt.
13.
Vicqinor.
Nice.
Lukien.
20.
Hey, I like that idea. Rats.
Rats, 16.
Lukien's first. Kira on deck.
Turn to the rat that killed my BFF Grimstone. And I will attempt to kill him with a 15.
That will hit.
Kill him.
8 damage.
Kill him.
And it is dead.
Kill him. Kill them all, mommy.
Yep.
Alright. Are you gonna move it all?
Yeah, then I'll move right in front of you, right there. Yep.
Okay.
Stay on your toes.
Snarl at
The big one's still around here.
Alright. After Lukien, it is Kira. Kira will turn to look back at her brother, make sure he's okay, see that there is a rat on his back, and she will Sacred Flame the rat.
Okay.
So dexterity saving throw, DC 13.
Fail.
Fail! That's the only time I do damage! Nice! That's a
Damage
D10!
every round.
Well, but I only do damage if they fail. 2!
Oh.
2 points of damage!
So you singe the rat and it squeaks at you.
It probably smells really bad. After Kira, it is Ratty Boys with Kurt up next.
Alright, so who's got a rat on them?
So Lukien has 2,
Kira does.
but Kira, one of them could attack Kira, and then Kurt has that rat on him still.
Okay, so we'll start with Kurt, and Kira, then Lukien.
Okay.
Kurt.
Spaceman and Vicqinor.
Had an armor class of 14.
Miss. With me, armor. Miss.
Kira! We'll hit an armor class of, we'll hit an armor class of 20.
That is a hit.
For 4 points of piercing damage.
And burns.
My ankle!
And then against Lukien, gonna hit an armor class of 8.
Alright.
Good.
It kind of reminds me of that picture where the D&D group where everybody's painted, but one guy's in black and white, and it's like, forgot the guy's name.
It's gonna be okay. You'll
So
get that.
casting
You
this
move.
a ranged spell at a creature in melee is at disadvantage, right? So
But there's nothing that says that you have to target the one that is on you.
right. Actually, yeah, I might just do that. I might just target the one that's was attacking Kira. So I think I'm gonna do better at that than trying to attack the one on me or hit it with my quarterstaff. Jesus, another natural 1.
Jeez. As you're just flinging these bolts of flame, freaking out as the rats are just kind of snipping at you and everything. You're like, ah! Firebolts going in all kinds of random directions. You see a couple of your items get knocked off of shelves.
Damn it, Kurt, chill out!
It's Vic's turn next.
Well, seeing his chaos, I'm gonna scoot away because you're having a bit of a rough time, and I thought I was worried. And then I'm gonna shoot at the rat with my longbow.
Which rat?
The one that's behind Kurt. It's gonna be a 16 to hit,
That will hit.
and then I assume I get sneak
Yep.
attack, cast it's engaged. Oh, there we go, finally. 4 damage. 8 total.
And it is dead.
They only have 7 hit points.
Fair enough.
I know that because 6 hit points didn't do it.
This action
My
reload.
7 does.
But 7 has.
I guess
Alright, initiative. Kurt.
Come on.
19.
Vicqinor.
8.
Lukien.
19.
Rats.
15.
Alright, Lukien and Kurt, you're Simon.
I have a +3.
0.
Alright.
Hit them, you can do it!
I'm gonna shoot that rat that was attacking Kira.
Don't hit my shelves!
Well,
alright.
yeah, that is a 17 to hit.
You hit.
So Firebolt's a D10, right?
Yes. D10 plus.
No
I
plus.
wish it were a plus.
No plus.
Make it then.
8 points of fire damage.
Turn and you carefully aim and bam! You incinerate one of the rats.
Yes, like that!
I will attack the rat. Last rat
Last rat.
for 16.
Hit.
7 damage.
You roll a lot of ones on that.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Still enough, yeah.
it kills the rat in front of you.
Good thing I took Duelist.
Looking about, you see that there are many corpses of dead rats lying about now in varying states of damage. Some of them singed, many of them simply skewered.
Please stay on your guard.
And each of you give me a nature check.
Nine.
7.
15. 2.
You kind of get the idea that there was something a little off about these rats.
Yeah, they were fucking large.
Well, other than the fact that they're big, you've heard of giant rats. The
Yeah.
sewers are kind of known for having them. But they also aren't always fight to the last rat standing
Yeah,
types.
I know. They usually know to run away. Did you guys notice that they were weirdly aggressive and they, I don't know, wouldn't rats normally run away when they know that they're gonna get killed or die?
I don't know. Did you notice that we just killed a dozen rats?
In my rat fighting
Don't be so loud,
experience,
Kira. The big one's still around here somewhere.
which I am very experienced in killing rats, by the way, just so everybody knows. This is very strange. Because normally I pull the craft duty and have to kill rats all the time as a low level squire. That's what I want to do.
You're working your way up the ladder.
So,
It's a slow progress.
these rats are very weird. Because normally a group of this you would kill 1 or 2 before they would run away. But
Yeah.
we killed 12 and they kept coming at us. So hopefully
Well, they have a king now, so
Well, yeah, we don't know enough about
respect the crown.
this creature that came out of the
hashtag.
I heard this
the puzzle.
During this conversation, I'm gonna retrieve the arrows I fired.
Okay.
But
Those smell.
Yeah, but I've only got
Kicking
some.
over a couple of the rats. Are there any like marks on them? Like
Is their fur patchy, like they just grew a whole bunch all of a sudden? Okay, cool. Just checking.
any like
These are about on par
Brand.
with some of the rats you've seen. Basically doing some cleanup duty.
well, I guess we're already down here, so just keep going.
yeah, we should take a look and see if we can find this thing and take it down before it causes any real damage.
I should be a bit cautious though, because this thing was much bigger than
Here,
any of
can I get
these.
a heal real fast.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm down some.
We're down 7. Okay, here, drink this. You'll feel better.
24 plus 2!
And then I'm going to inch up here. I definitely want to be stealthy and quiet, as I'm very nervous about that big fucking thing that none of them have seen yet. But I would like to look down into this tunnel and see what I can see down there.
Okay. You creep forward and kind of peer in. You are trying to be
way over here.
stealthy.
Yes, please.
She was just offering you a light source.
Oh,
I think you have dark vision though.
I do.
We're just
13.
trying to be stealthy.
Alright, you
Yeah,
creep
no.
forward and kind of peer. You kind of put your hand up over your nose, because as you get closer into the sewer,
Just getting worse.
it just gets worse, and it is rancid in here. You kind of peer about and you see that the tunnel goes left and right through here. It seems to run basically parallel with the street up above you.
Okay, that would make sense.
So, looking at this, you're pretty sure that, you know, if you were to go to the left, that would take you down towards the docks area, and if you were to go right, it would take you up towards the circle, towards Stromberg's circle. Obviously underground, but
I feel like I'll have to be doing this myself, so yeah, I'll just take that in.
alright, what are the rest of you doing?
I am patching up wounds. I'll use my healer's kit basically to make sure that nothing really gets infected.
Shall we carry on then?
Yeah.
Basically talk Luke into going first, because, you know,
He's got the armor.
Well, his
He's
shield
got
is
the
bigger than mine.
Once you guys get close to me, I'll kind of look back. Alright, from what it looks like, if we go to the left, it'll head towards the docks, and if we go right, it'll go farther into town. I'd say with the way they were organized, I almost feel like going in rather than towards the
well,
docks.
can you see which way it went?
I am
Attempt a survival check.
not that good at such a thing. Would
Can
one
I
of
look
you
for
be
Fritz?
better at tracking?
Yeah, whoever wishes to attempt to make a survival check.
I mean, everyone can. Like,
Yeah, true. But
6. I look
good.
specifically for paw prints in the poopy poop.
10.
9.
9.
14.
Oh, good.
Well, you two, as you're kind of looking about, you see that there are basically there's lots of moss and slime and stuff that kind of coats the walls itself. You see going towards the docks area, some of that has been scraped away on the walls where it looks like something fairly large has moved through the area in that direction.
So I think we need to go towards the docks.
Yeah, it looks like it went down the dock way.
And this is why I have you guys here. My judgment clearly wouldn't have been that good. To the docks, I guess. Come on, Lukien. And I'll just kind of subtly push you forward and get you in front.
I'll take the lead.
Alright, so
Stoically.
I'll take second.
what light source are you using?
I still have my copper piece.
Okay.
So I will, so you two are
Well,
up front?
How much do we care about being sneaky? Like, we're gonna be pretty loud, right? Your armor is.
Yeah, I
Great
get
movie.
I cannot sneak, and a rat that big is gonna have hearing. That's gonna be amazing.
I'm just gonna cast light on his shield,
Okay.
so he can
Get
be
on
up
the
front
center
and
and
just,
hold it.
yeah, just kind of,
Okay, so you have light on your shield, unlike the centerpiece there.
Yeah.
I'll cast it on my sickle so I have this cool like half moon crescent and light source. Total Sailor Moon status.
Alright, so you begin making your way through and treading carefully. You know that the ground down here can be slippery at times, and you definitely don't want to fall in anything that's down here. And you begin making your way steadily towards the docks. As you travel maybe 30, 40 feet, you see like there's like a couple of smaller pipes that come in from like side drainage and stuff like that. Knowing down here that the main roads have these large open tunnels basically, but everything else has much smaller drainage pipes that basically flow into these larger tunnels. So you kind of, but you know to watch for the side pipes because that's where a lot of the large rats will nest up and there where it's, well, where people can't generally reach them easily. But you kind of peer in and very carefully go past that, and then about another 40, 50 feet, you see a few more, and then you come across the first section where the one of the larger side streets will connect in, so you have an actual large tunnel. You're in basically a crossroads here.
Since we grew up here, would we have kind of not like exact sense, but a general sense of where we're at in the town, even though we're.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're pretty.
So we would know that this intersection, this.
We're right by old man Foster's house.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Just making sure that we're not getting lost down here. So.
Right. You know that this particular tunnel would normally have exited underneath the main docks, but when they did the reconstruction and they discovered the lower caverns, they, instead of putting the sewer out into the harbor itself, they just kind of walled that off, and basically they redirected all of the sewage down into basically the deep caverns.
Okay. So.
So you know that it will dead end.
I looked for the money.
I have no idea where they are.
So, I mean, it makes sense for them to go to the docks, right? Because that's where all the fish are, and it's a lot of food.
But
Because they fill out like the fish tanks and stuff.
But they can't get out there unless the creature dug a new tunnel, because it's all blown off.
Yeah, but I mean, look at how the wall held him.
Yeah, that's true. So we should check it out, but also keep in mind we might have to make our way towards the pits.
well, I mean, where does it look like it went from here?
I rolled a 7, so I can tell.
Survival check.
11.
Ooh, a 13, 14.
So what you guys?
7.
Alright. So you two are kind of looking around, you see that it kind of, here it looks like it had originally gone straight across, but you noticed that it had doubled back and went down one of the side passageways.
Guys, I think it went this way. Look,
I mean, if you're
those little
sure.
like, those little.
I'll look, but I will not lean closer to it.
Well, she points out, you can see where it went down towards the docks, but where she points from the tracks that came back, she points at the ceiling, as it looks like something basically scampered along the ceiling and back and basically towards your left.
Definitely pooped on the ceiling.
Alright,
I'm more
so-
concerned
Keep
with the
going.
footsteps.
So down that way then.
I'm gonna be far more creeped out about this, but I guess we're going that way.
Okay, but I mean, it's really big.
Just use any other rings for now. Nice way, because it's like on camera.
I'm sorry, Nicole.
So,
Alright, so you guys make your way further down that direction, and for the briefest of moments you get a sense of something way more pleasant than the sewage that's down here, and you realize that you are moving underneath or close by to one of the most popular bakeries in town.
oh God, don't smell, don't ruin this smell for me. I love these sniffs.
But as you are kind of coming around, you see that up ahead there's a slight curve in the. It's a wide curve, but it basically turns the tunnel 90 degrees
Okay.
up another side street. Give me perception checks.
That works.
That's what.
Ooh.
9.
19.
Also a 19.
Alright, so you three, as you're kind of moving along, you hear something. Sounds almost like a conversation, but you can't really make out what's being said. It doesn't sound human.
Do we recognize the other language?
Let's see, what languages do you speak?
Elvish, Halfling, Rhineland, Primordial, Gnomish, and Sylvan.
Okay, and you?
I've got Common, Infernal, Dwarf, Elf, Draconic, Abyssal, Primordial, and Sylvan, and Rhineland.
Alright, you two recognize it as Sylvan.
Okay.
It sounds like you can't. It's not perfect. It's kind of broken, a little guttural, and crude. But you make out what sounds like, "Yes, my subjects, we will rule this whole area, and we'll have a feast of filth. Now, go forth, gather my minions, gather my army."
Oh God, Kurt, you can understand that, right? I think that's what I let out of the box.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
And I'm sure these
It's
two are just
amassing a rat
confused.
army.
I think we need to stop this and kill it.
Well, that's what we're here for.
If you two didn't understand, sounds like this rat is actually some kind of king, or at least a leader of sorts, and it's trying to amass an army out of these rats.
It's speaking broken Fey language.
Like a fairy.
Yeah.
Not all Fey are fairies.
Oh no, there's centaurs, right?
You're trying.
But
Centaurs.
you should go and take care of it before you realize that we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody hold hands for a second.
Don't whisper. I can't hear you on the camera.
Kira whispers, everybody hold hands for a second. And once everybody's holding hands in like a ring, I will cast Bless.
On which three?
Those 3.
Okay.
Okay.
How long does Bless last?
A minute. Sounds like we're going in, right?
Yeah, basically. We're
Alright,
about
so
to.
you cast Bless, and who's going around the corner first?
Hello.
Alright, you peer around the corner, if you will do that.
Actually, you might need
That's true.
I need the actual character minis.
Oh, sorry.
Same marching order, I take
Yeah.
it?
Vic's gonna be second, Kira will be third, and Kurt will be in the back.
You come around the corner and you see two giant rats. But these giant rats are not like the giant rats you have seen before. Well, they are, but they are standing upright and they are each holding crooked sticks.
Ooh.
They look like they have been crudely sharpened, like up against a stone or whatever, to have like a point. Like they're standing guard in front of a doorway.
All right.
I assume that you are not stealthing?
No.
I mean, you can try. It can be a disadvantage.
He also has a light on his shield.
As you come around the corner, they immediately both turn towards you, and you just see those gleaming red eyes as they catch the light, and they hiss in your direction, and just start screeching out loud.
Lukien, what do you see? Oh god!
Initiative.
And I rolled poorly for
As you do.
it. Yeah. I've been getting good attack rolls, but man, am I low on the initiative.
Kurt.
16.
Grimstone.
Is currently bamfed. I have to resummon him.
Vicqinor.
6.
Lukien.
He had 3 hit points and got it.
I hit by 4 on his first hit.
4. Do you need more than one, John?
2.
Okay. I'm gonna mark them as bad guys and boss. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay, so bad guys.
So whatever rat guards.
Alright, so bad guy, or boss?
Bad guys.
Bad
Rat
guys.
boys.
Rat boys. 8.
King.
King, 10.
Alright, so Kurt, you're first.
Back.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna move up behind Lukien here, and I'm just going to try and firebolt the first rat guard that I see.
Alright,
Be a 15.
that is a hit.
Ooh. 3 points of firebolt damage.
Alright, so you singe its kind of black and brown mottled fur, and it just kind of hisses in your direction as it gets ready to attack you guys.
Alright.
Alright, after Kurt, it is Kira's turn. Kira will move up 5, 10, 15, 20 through her brother to get to just the other side, and I will cast Sacred Flame on the rat that is closest to me, the one with his tail curled to him.
You just gotta look at the one that just got singed by me.
You had bless on that roll.
I still hit. Bless doesn't
I
do
know,
damage.
but I forgot that you had bless for it.
It will fail its dexterity
You
saving
still
throw.
have a good roll, yeah, but I need to
4
remember
points
that for
of
myself.
radiant damage.
Alright, so that, with the golden flame that kind of erupts around it, it engulfs the rat and it falls to the ground. Kind of a singed and soot-covered corpse.
Barbecue!
Keep that one separate.
Okay,
Ah,
after
believe
Kira,
it.
it is King's turn with Rat Boys on deck.
Yep.
King got 10, Rat Boys got 8.
And
The rest
then
of
you
them
hear
are terrible.
Smaller.
You hear a voice from inside, it's like, you two hear, what goes on out there? And you guys just hear, squeak, 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 squeak.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Alright, so after the Rat King, it's the Rat Guard, or
Alright.
whatever else other rats, maybe.
The lesser rats.
What rats may come.
This one will run right up to Lukien, while another one comes out of here.
Ooh.
You can't sit in that spot.
Also, basically up to
That's his spot.
Lukien right here.
Look out.
Meow, meow, meow. And they will both attack you. And because they are both attacking the same creature, they get pack tactics.
Oh no. Advantage.
Does a 19 hit you?
Damn.
Armor and shield.
Does a 22 hit you?
22 does hit it.
It sticks you with its little like makeshift spear for 3 points of piercing damage.
Alright.
Alright, next.
So after King and bad guys, it's Vicqinor with Lukien on deck.
I'll do a
I'm
sneak
gonna
attack.
see the two of them that come at him. I'm gonna shoot the farther one, so the one that's over here on the right side.
Okay.
That works. That's gonna be 14 plus 2 is 16 plus 6. Oh yeah, that's 22 to hit.
Yep.
I'm just throwing dice today. 12 plus 4, so 16 points of damage with my longbow.
That rat falls to the ground dead.
Yes. Ooh, it's
Flies back slightly as it's carried by the power of the arrow.
From the longbow.
yeah, the longbow. That's why it's an arrow and not a bolt.
Alright, who's after Vic?
My turn. I will attack the rat right in front of me. 4, 8, 9, 15.
15, that will hit.
Yeah. For 10 points of damage.
10 points, alright. That one is also dead as you run it all the way through it and have to fling it off the end of your spear.
What ho!
Splatters down the hallway, but you can make out at a distance more glowing red eyes and moving in your direction.
Alright, it's initiative.
I expect more to come.
Kurt,
22.
Damn.
Vicqinor,
13.
Lukien,
8.
I'm
Rat Boys,
double digits.
8,
King,
12.
Yes.
Kurt.
So, do I see any more rats right now?
Immediately, no. You can hear and see like the glint of eyes and everything down from that direction, and even some coming up from behind. But you're not exactly certain as to how far,
Okay.
how much longer it'll be before they get there.
I don't want to run up first, so I'm just gonna hold a firebolt for the first enemy that I see.
Okay.
That's within range or whatever. So.
All right.
Alright, Kurt went. That makes it Kira's turn. Kira is going to take her coin and she's gonna chuck it with purpose. I would like to throw my coin. She can steal Grimstone's marker, and I would like to land it here-ish.
All right. Give me a ranged attack.
17.
Yeah, easily. You throw it and it just kind of, it doesn't skip or bounce as it lands basically in like a mushy section of moss and slime and who knows what else that you might, and it just kind of sticks almost on the side of the wall there.
Gross. Okay, and then
But it
with
works.
that, I
You can
will
see.
move.
But you hear a,
Yeah. Ooh. But that way, Lukien can see what he's doing. Vicqinor.
We can't
Okay.
see. No, it's a pretty long hallway. I guess I'm going to scoot up alongside Kira here and keep an arrow ready for the first thing that's gonna come at me. So I'm gonna hold my action to fire at a hostile.
okay. Who's next?
Kingsley.
Rat King.
All right. You hear a swish, swish, swish.
Ew.
And then this large creature comes out.
Does it look like the thing I released?
It has 6 arms.
And kind of hisses and comes right around over here. He's like, minions! Devour these creatures!
Reaction firebolt.
Red Bull.
20 to hit on mine.
Oh, they make like a wine cooler version of it, and I want to buy some to have those next week to share.
And an 11 probably does not hit.
I don't know, he's big.
Okay.
11 does not hit.
What about a 20?
A 20 does hit.
And I don't get sneak attack, do I?
Is there anything in melee with it?
Technically, Kira's in there
Ooh,
with
I
it.
guess technically
Yes.
me, so I should be rolling at disadvantage. That's okay. The first
Well, I would
one.
say that you were. Well, it's up to you. Do you want to attack it when it gets up close so that you
No,
can have a
I would
sneak
have
attack, or
fired
do you
once
wanna-
it like started to come around that corner. I would have already let it go.
Alright, then you won't get your sneak attack, but you will get your. But you won't have disadvantage.
So that's
That
okay.
thing is lives in my house, guys.
A total of 6 piercing
points.
damage.
All right. So as it kind of runs around the corner, and it is now in base contact with Lukien and Kira, right?
Yep.
All right. It's going
Vic
to.
and Kira.
Huh?
Vic and Kira.
Oh, all right. Vic and Kira. All right. Here we go. It lashes out with its claws. 2 claws at Vic. As you hit it with an arrow.
And that was the one that released it.
Well, I was expecting you to be in the front. That's why I keep looking at you for that.
Well, he had low initiative and people ran in front except for me who was like, no.
Yeah.
But a 9 is not going to hit you.
Oh my god.
But a 22 will, I would assume. As it claws out at you.
I will stop one of them, but the big claws. Weird sausage fingery claws.
Raggedy nails.
7 points of slashing damage.
That's half
And
my
then
health.
It slashes out at you and then turns and just snaps at you, and its jaws open up and it's longer, almost crocodile-like instead of rat-like, and just has rows and rows of teeth. And it's like,
For my reaction, I would like to scream like a child.
okay. Scream like a child as it hits an armor class of 21.
Yeah, it just catches my arm.
For 5 points of piercing damage as it latches onto your arm and kind of shakes you off your feet. Give me a strength saving throw.
Oh shit.
Strength saving throw? Fucking tits. Okay, that's a 5.
Alright, so it kind of shakes you, kind of throws you off to the side, basically knocking you prone. So you're prone.
Oh, do you have a prone thing? Oh, it's gonna just knock you over the top there.
As after the Rat King.
Rats and Luke,
boys.
Sino.
Yep.
Alright, the Rat's got a +2.
Oh yeah.
0 on the
Those are my blessed markers for now, by the way.
Oh, that's fine. I can't see what they say, so I just.
Charmed and stunned.
Oh,
They appear here. Basically, that's their movement to get to that point.
Right. But that's still.
Creepy.
And then.
Creepy and a crime.
After that, that would make it Lukien's turn if there's no more rats going.
So I will move up to the king and attack him.
Is there room?
Yeah, 'cause how wide is this hallway?
10 feet.
So no.
You can't move.
Well, he can move.
Unless you want to like forcibly pull one of us out of the way and take our place.
Which wouldn't be bad, actually, because I'm laying prone.
Yeah,
so
but-
he could walk over me.
But that,
Well, you'd still have to move. You can't be in a
I
second
guess the
square.
question would be, when the rat king threw me prone, did I move at all, or was it just where
You're
I'm
just
flat?
prone.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll move up to Kira.
it'll be your action to move her though.
I'll move Kira 5 feet back, take her spot, and then use action surge to attack the king.
Okay.
There you go.
So switch those guys out there.
It's Luke in front. Good.
Roll the hit.
Oh.
That's my plus.
7, 8, 9. 9.
Ah,
But I
that's
mean,
a
it's a
miss.
natural one though, like that's,
Right,
even with
yeah.
less, that's not a miss.
Oh well. So you move her back and you go to plunge the spear into it, and it just kind of flings its tail and just kind of knocks the spear wide. But you have moved Kira out of harm's way at the very least.
Initiative.
Woo! Finally.
Kurt,
19.
Vicqinor,
24.
Lukien,
10.
Rat Boys,
18.
King,
3.
Vicqinor.
It's not a bonus action for me to disengage, is it? That's
It is at the rogue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought there was a higher
Well,
level.
I don't
you
know.
have
Is
cutting
that
action
second
now,
level or
right?
third level thing?
Is that what cutting
Yeah, cutting
Yeah,
action.
cunning action allows you to dash, disengage,
Or hide.
See, I thought, okay, I didn't fully understand it then. I thought it was only hide and Never mind then. Yeah. So I will bonus action disengage because I do not want to be a part of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna fire at the Rat King with my longbow. That's gonna be in 14 to hit.
14 will hit.
Woo! And as he's engaged,
Just hits, as you would say.
a total of 12 points of damage. And in Sylvan, I'm gonna say this is not your land.
Okay.
After Vicqinor, it is Kurt, who's the only one of us that understood what you just rat hissed at that boy.
Well, to be fair, the rat's the only one that
Well, he
needed
didn't say it
to.
in a rat. It sounded very sing-song Elvish, but
Like,
This isn't the time,
it's
Vic.
really the time to be
all right. I'm gonna step
Rat boys on
over
deck.
here, and I am going to prepare a chromatic orb, fire, and send it towards the giant rat king.
Nice. All right.
So that'll be a 25 to hit.
That hits. Did you roll a 20?
No.
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 15 plus 4 on the blessed.
Oh, I
plus,
forgot about the blast.
Yeah, I wish I rolled a natural 20. Because that would be amazing.
I did my initiative.
Ooh. Still good though. 16 points of fire damage.
Nice.
Do you choose what the orb's damage is? Or
Yes,
is it-
out of a.
Yeah, chromatic.
Okay. I was gonna say, or is it more like Chaos Bolt where it's
Nope,
random?
I get to pick. Which is why it's good, because
Okay. So Chaos Bolt
Alright.
is the wild version.
did it seem like it took the full fire from that?
It did take the full fire from that. And give me a perception check.
Everybody just said.
Just have.
Natural 20
Nice.
for a 22.
As you are preparing the orb and get ready to send it out, you notice that the wounds that it had sustained so far were slowly starting to heal up. And then you blast it with the fire, and it seems to have stunted that healing, its natural healing process,
Okay.
at least for a short period of time.
It seems to regenerate. At least fire seems to slow it or stop it. And that
Keep
will-
burning it.
I have a tinderbox!
Thanks.
Okay, it's the
Rat boys.
Rats
Lukien
boys!
on deck.
What you gonna do?
What
rat boys, rat boys.
Yep.
gonna get the black plague. That's what I'm gonna do.
Moves up to
Well, I'll just
there.
die from disease. It's fine.
The black plague.
We're all gonna smell horrible after this.
Moves up to there. This one moves up and it is going to attempt to bite Vic.
Damn it.
That's why I moved where I did.
I know. But at the moment when Vic had moved it, he wasn't aware of that.
We'll hit an armor class of 15.
Damn it, that is my armor class.
You should get a shield. They're great.
For
Lukien gets it.
6 points of piercing damage.
I have one left.
Well, hopefully you have a cleric in the party.
Yeah, that would be great.
Who's after rats?
After rats,
It's Luke.
it's
Lukien.
Lukien.
I will attack
Kira on deck.
the Rat King.
Okay.
Welcome up for 25 or so.
Yep, that will hit.
So hit for 12 damage.
Alright, he looks pretty rough. As you plunge your spear into his thick, kind of muscled body, you pull the spear out and you see this kind of blackish red blood kind of spray out on the ground. And he just kind of hisses at you.
After Lukien, it is Kira.
Kira, I'm not doing so great back here.
Kira will healing word and sacred flame.
Can you stand up?
Okay, are you going to stand up?
Yeah, but that's my movement.
Right, but yeah.
Yeah,
If
so
you
I will
don't say it, it doesn't
I will
sound good.
stand up.
Order of operations.
I will stand up. I will healing word Vicqinor. So you will get back 7 points.
Nice.
And then I will sacred flame. And basically I want to aim for the wound that he just put in it. And I want to set fire to its insides.
Okay.
So
Two
I
fire.
dexterity saving throw DC
Dexterity.
13.
Natural 20 on its save.
Okay, so there's like a little flicker.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a little flicker, but you were so caught up in healing him that you just didn't have enough oomph in that spell for it to actually catch.
Oh, I'll start digging for my tinderbox. King's turn.
Alright, the king.
So far, it's only Lukien and base with it.
Yeah, but I think he can try and squeeze around.
Oh, walls and stuff, yeah.
Lukien will get an attack of opportunity as it steps back into here.
Kill it!
Just reminding me I have those.
26
There's a hit.
for 9 damage.
Alright. Oh, so close.
Get it with a lance.
Alright. So close, you just jab at it, it hisses as it lifts its way back and kind of into that alcove a little bit.
Initiative. Kurt.
19 again.
Vicqinor.
11.
Lukien.
20.
Nice. Rat boys.
Rat boys go on 17.
King.
Goes on 22.
Mother bitch. Alright, King and Kira are Simo. Kira's got a +3.
Alright, you see as it kind of backs up and it kind of gets over there, it reaches over and grabs one of the dead rats on the ground and just swallows it. And you notice some of its wounds kind of close up.
That is not cool.
Alright,
And it yells out, "Get them, my minions! Get them!" And Sylvan, of course. You just hear, "Squeak! Squeaky, squeak, squeak!"
He sent out another charge order.
I'm gonna draw my crossbow
Okay,
and I'm gonna fire at it. Give it
fire
some-
net.
The giant rat guy.
Okay.
He's got a pretty big base, so I can still draw line of sight. And I will do 5 points of piercing damage as I shoot him with a crossbow bolt right in his mouth. Knock out a tooth.
It just kind of screeches, reaches up and pulls the bolt out of its jaw and flings it onto the ground.
I'll be back for that. It's Kurt's turn.
Alright,
Wait, no, sorry, it's Lukien's.
Yeah.
I'll advance to the king and attempt to swing that way.
Alright, come at the king, you best not miss.
Oh, 27?
That's a miss.
Damn.
With his plus.
Just kidding.
For 12 points of damage.
As you thrust the spear into it, how do you want to do this?
Right underneath the jaw, out the back of the neck.
Thrust the spear forward and it hits just under the jaw as it's squeaking at you, and it's like kind of raises up above you. It goes in through the jaw, comes out the back right behind the head. Some gore kind of spray out the back as you yank the spear back out. Big gouts of black red blood kind of pouring down the front of it. It collapses onto the ground.
I just flex like a little rat.
Who's next?
Next, it's Kurt.
Does it look like it's dead, or does it look like it's starting to regenerate?
Give me a perception check.
11.
You can't really tell. It's far enough kind of around the corner and kind of covered in enough crap and its own gore that you can't really make out most of its wounds. Plus you're kind of being harried by other rats at the
I'm
moment.
gonna firebolt the one on Vic.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
13.
13 will hit.
Yes.
That dice tray really builds the suspense because, like, you think it's
7
done,
points.
and then it just
7 points, alright, that rat goes down.
Much appreciated.
Alright.
Who's next?
You did a number
After
on that
Kurt,
ankle.
it's Rat Boys.
Alright, the other 2 rat boys come rushing forward. They will surround the one closest to their king.
What's left of him?
The first one runs up and he tries to stick you with his little stick.
Makeshift.
Oh, even with the back tactics, a natural 4 is not good. Oh, but his buddy makes up for it with a critical stab to your thigh.
Are we taking
That's how you do it.
Different armor, shit.
For 6 points of piercing damage.
No, that would have done.
And
some
seeing
harm.
what's on that stick, you're pretty sure that's gonna leave an infection.
So it's critical shit.
Who's after rats?
After rat boys, it's Vicqinor!
I'm gonna knock an arrow and get ready to fire at them. Then skeptically look back over here. Do I see any other rats?
Give me a perception check.
17.
You do not see them, but you can hear more rats coming.
I will nervously continue to fire my shot then.
Alright.
God, I can't roll today. Nope. That's a natural 1.
This is why she cast Bless, by the way.
Which I got a
Kind of
bonus for
ricochets
that.
itself off the walls, and then you hear it kind of squelch into something down at towards the end.
My bad. And then I'm going to scooch up about right here.
Initiative. Good.
17.
Vicqinor.
Dropping dice again.
You roll it in the tray?
I'm trying. Thank you.
Lukien.
13.
Rat boys.
Boys, go on 14.
King.
6.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Alright, Vicqinor.
Is up first.
Yep, with Kurt on deck.
Anyways. Alright, we're gonna try to gently do this. I'm gonna fire at the one that's trying to bite Lukien in the butt there. With another natural 1. I can't fire. I'm terrified.
Different D20, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No, he rolled 2 different d20 and
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. He did do different 20s, and I don't.
Yeah, no, that was just
Alright.
Alright. Kira. Oh, fuck, that's me.
No, it's Kurt. I'm up next.
You're up next.
You
Kurt. Kira
just
on deck.
casually crossed it off and moved on.
Yeah. It's like, I got this.
I get to play.
Moving up closer, I'm looking at that rat again, the big one.
Okay, give me another perception check.
Kurt. It's always all about Kurt.
20 total.
Yes, you can see that its wounds are beginning to heal.
Alright. I'm gonna try and firebolt it, but it's prone, so I have disadvantage, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna let you fire and make a joke about, hey, the live ones are over here, Kurt.
Well, that would have been a natural 20,
Yeah, it would've.
but otherwise it's a 7 plus a 13.
That's a miss.
Just one shard.
It just kind of gets caught up in its thick fur and doesn't actually deal any real damage to it.
Okay. But I'm gonna say I think it's regenerating, guys. It's not dead yet.
Oh, so you did? Okay, I thought you missed intentionally. Oh.
Alright, so now it's Kira.
Now it's Kira. Kira will spread 1 foot on one side of the muck and 1 foot on the other side of the muck
Doing the
in an
upward
attempt to
splits.
not touch the muck and fire a shot at the rat that's on Lukien's bone.
Okay.
I'm trying to protect your butt, man, don't worry.
Yeah, we got your ass, specifically. Okay, 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Protect your neck.
10 points of the
And it is
bomb.
dead!
Pew pew! The butt is saved!
The butt is saved. But then,
That Strom burns ass.
I will pull out a potion and kind of nudge Vic with it.
Okay.
And then it is Rat Boy's turn.
Rat boy, any rat boys left?
There's one on Luke right now.
Alright, Luke.
Tucked around the corner.
It will try to bite you. Oh shit. 21.
That's a hit.
For 3 more points of piercing damage. As it basically tries to put its head up there where it like stabs you with the stick and try to like bite you like in the hole of the armor.
Double infection!
Alright, Luke, it's your turn.
Turn.
Okay,
What you got?
bonus action, I'm gonna do second wind. And get 10 hit points back.
Nice.
Nice.
18. And then, so you said that it's regenerating?
Yeah, but it's not back up yet, so you can, I mean that's, yeah, I've said it's regenerating.
Okay, I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna attempt to Stab it one more time.
I just meant stab something.
It's a puddle of nothing.
So the one on the ground, you
Yeah.
have advantage on it, right?
Or the little bugger that's biting at your ankles. Take
Yeah.
a pick.
No. 14
Alright, you hit it. And you stab it.
for 9 damage.
Still at 0.
Okay.
Because it won't go below 0.
Alright.
After Lukien, it is King's turn.
Alright, you see its flesh kind of knit back together. It kind of quivers and raises up. It says, just kind of screeches something at you, and you two give me perception checks
Oh.
to see if you can understand what it says.
14.
17.
Alright, both of you. It says, "My heart is my own! And this kingdom will be mine!"
It's a kingdom of hearts.
But
And you will get an attack of opportunities. It will back off into the hole a little bit.
That's 13.
Ah, just misses.
initiative.
No.
15 for me.
15. Kurt,
14.
Vicqinor,
14, 12. It's because I have.
you got a 15. Rat boys,
Rat boys will go on 21.
King.
We'll go on 16.
Rat boys.
Rat boys are first.
Yeah, there's
Alright.
one still on.
You see one coming from the far end and 2 from this side. So basically just put them, yeah.
King's up next.
Alright, and the king just kind of hisses and you see more of his wounds closing up.
After King, it is, let's see, Lukien.
I'll charge him.
Kurt up next.
So you're gonna get attack of opportunity on the rat.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the rat boys gets an attack of opportunity on Lukien.
Okay. 19?
Miss.
Okay. Hit.
12 damage.
12. And just kind of staggers in place and just kind of hisses at you. He seems to be struggling to stay on his feet, but he is still standing.
Alright. So I'm gonna move up so I can see the Rat King. I'm gonna prepare my final spell. That's not a cantrip. Chromatic Orb again. Fire.
Ah!
Way.
And 29.
Nice! You hit!
Get it with fire!
I rolled a 19 and max on the bless. Alright. 13 points of fire damage.
Alright. Again, in a large heap, it just kind of lands heavy onto the floor in the sewage and everything around it. And ceases to move.
But does it look like the fire killed it? Don't know. Okay.
It's not currently regenerating.
It's not currently regenerating. Okay.
But you remember the last time you used fire on it, it took it a little bit for the regeneration to start back
Yeah.
up.
Right.
After Kurt, it's Vicqinor with Kira on.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, actually.
In character.
I was going to talk to Kurt, so go
Uh,
ahead.
And I'll say this in comments so everyone can hear it. It said its heart is its own. I think the treasure inside of it is what's keeping it alive. I think we need to take its heart out to kill it.
Alright.
And then
Sounds like
that'll be it.
Interesting job for you, Lukien. I'm gonna try and take care of that last little rat that's once again going for his butt. It's 22 plus 6, 28 to hit.
There's a hit.
Yeah. And
You don't get sneak attack because it's actually not.
oh, he's not engaged. Okay,
Nope.
not a problem. That's still 8 points piercing damage.
And it is dead.
Yeah. And then I will scoot up to about here.
Alright.
Who is next?
After Vicqinor, it's Kira. Kira hears that we need to cut its heart out, and she's so excited because this is actually something she knows how to do. Normally on like people, for like autopsies and shit. But she knows how to do this. So she's gonna charge in there.
A little more excited than she should be.
15, 20, 25. I really want to help. And I am going to make a medicine check to see if I know where its heart would be. 15.
Alright. So you yank out your scythe, jam it in, and pull real hard, and it just very nicely goes along the sternum and separates the ribs from the sternum itself, and you pry open the chest and you see the heart in there, this massive thing about the size of like a human head just pumping away.
I would like to cut it out, but I think I have to wait till my next turn, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that makes it initiative action.
And that's why I'm not using that for the initiative die.
Ooh, yes, that's how excited she is to cut out its heart.
Well.
Kurt,
5.
Vicqinor,
7.
Lukien,
Oh.
Rat Boys,
Rat boys, 19,
King.
12.
Bro, I got a 23, so I'm gonna cut that bitch's heart out.
Alright, so you reach in, as you basically pry the chest open, you reach in, grab hold of it, and using your scythe, you cut all around it, basically cutting all the arteries and stuff, and you pull it out, and the body of the rat just kind of starts to ooze and melt away, but the heart in your hand is still beating.
I got
And you
it!
see that the arteries are starting to grow.
Onto.
Oh, that's not normal.
Cut it open.
So I'll put it down on the ground
Your actions are
and
done. You cut out its heart. Your actions are
I'm
done.
like preparing. Okay. Rat Boys with Rat King on deck.
Rat boys. Alright, so they will move forward, they will move 6.
So yeah, 30.
I did move that one already.
Okay.
Rat King.
Rat King will continue to regenerate, and as it's regenerating, you see that the heart is like, the arteries are reforming, veins, and starting to actually get meat and everything all around it, bits of tissue.
Oh, this is not normal.
And it seems to be regenerating a lot faster with its heart cut out.
That's not good.
The body of the rat itself has completely dissolved away, and you see as it kind of turns into kind of like a greenish muck. It kind of oozes away and kind of vanishes, and you see this opalescent ring slowly disappear into the ooze underneath, basically. into the
Kira, do you
sewage
see
there.
a ring over there?
I have a heart. It's growing. Vicqinor.
You're up.
Then yeah, as I just said, I'll ask if she sees a ring. Yeah, I'm gonna scoot up. I'm gonna look at the weird shit in her hand, and then look for a ring, as the letter mentioned there was one in its gross body. Is that
Okay.
where the ring was the body? Yeah.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm good at that,
Search the lucky muck.
and I rolled poorly, but it's still a 12.
It has disappeared into the.
Does
the
bless work for investigation?
No.
No.
No, it's only regular ability
Yeah,
checks,
it's only-
right?
Yeah, it's only attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay. Then
Alright, after
What's
Vic, it's Kurt. And after Kurt, it'll be Lukien.
Alright, I'm gonna move up. I want to put my hand on the heart and say the word that was on the letter to disarm the trap.
I think it's Zolin.
Zodonor, however it's
Do you have
pronounced.
the box?
I think I have the box.
She's got the box.
I said we should
Yeah,
bring
you say the word, but you don't have the item that.
Right.
Sorry, I don't understand it.
But I think we need the trap box, Vic. Trap the heart in it.
Oh, and I'll just like kind of start rolling.
Well, we're still on it.
Yeah.
We're still on initiative, so.
Who's next?
Lukien.
Can I check for the ring?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
17.
17? Yeah, you just stick your hand in there and kind of rummage around, and finally you pull up this like fluorescent ring. It's just covered in slime and grossness.
Put that in my pocket.
Okay.
I think it's initiative after that.
It is.
Ooh.
Alright.
Here, Kurt.
10.
Okay. Vicqinor.
17.
Lukien.
18.
I think our bless is
Ratboy.
3.
Rat boys go on 15.
King.
King goes on 16.
Okay, Lukien is first.
I'm
Yeah, use Grimstone's initiative for my bless.
going to attempt to. I just want to take a dagger and just recarve the heart.
So you're just kind of carving away at it.
Yeah, bring it back down to.
As you're like carving on it, you like peel off almost like vines or whatever. You're peeling it off. It seems almost as fast as you're peeling it off, it's growing back.
That's nasty. Vicqinor with Vicqinor with King on deck actually.
I'm gonna search in my bag and try and find the box.
All right, you pull out the box and it's just kind of all flopped open and everything.
Kurt, I'm not 100% what to do, but I'll try touching the heart and saying the word, and I will do exactly that.
All right, so you reach out and put basically the heart inside the box.
As best as I
say the
can.
command word, and all of a sudden it's like, and it closes like a trap all around the heart. Were you still holding onto it?
I had put it on the ground basically to stab it.
Okay. So it snaps around it like a rat trap, and all of a sudden all of the rats around just kind of, their eyes kind of go cloudy for a second and then back to that normal brown. And then they quickly scamper off back out into the sewerways.
Like they would normally. I knew they were acting weird.
And now you have this tetrahedron sealed back up with the little rat heads with the crown.
The grooves pushed back out.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
I have a lot.
If I were
Go ahead.
touching it, would I be in the box too?
No, but your hand might be.
I was gonna say that might.
Second question, is there a return address on the letter?
You just had a name.
Because we can send it back.
There was not, but that was definitely one hell of a prank, whatever that was.
But, I mean, we got this from that shipwreck, so who knows how long it's been there and where it came from.
Well, based on how that heart was regenerating, I'd say he's been there long enough to have a full body grown in there.
Well, magic.
Well,
that's
like
good.
that.
I think the thing is like who sent the box and how long the ship has been underwater.
Okay. It
And then-
looks like it's carved out of a chunk of opal.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm
Any
pretty sure that there should have been a ring somewhere here.
Engravings?
Just look pretty it is.
Like a name or anything?
What kind of
Runes or anything.
I found. Check this out, guys.
So you found the ring that was in the
Yeah,
creature?
it was mentioned in the letter.
I'm
there a
half
magic
tempted.
word
It's
for
a, it's a ring of regeneration.
No,
Plus
that was
5
for this.
per round. But
I mean, I can check it out later.
yeah.
Like,
Why don't you respond to that?
I've got identify.
I would like to leave the sewers.
Yes.
This was a gross encounter, and I now have a giant hole in my basement.
We should.
Sounds like a job for the water department. Just give a call.
Please,
Hey,
someone's
what
gonna
up,
voluntarily
Lorenzo?
fix this. Is what's left of the body just like dissipating in a gross ooze?
Yeah.
Ectoplasm?
This is
Since
definitely.
it's not originally from this plane, its body just kind of very rapidly decomposes into just kind of a.
Can I try and investigate it to see if I can deduce that it's from another plane? Because I don't think Vic would know much about any of that.
But we already.
You're pretty sure already.
Okay, then never mind.
And it is a puzzle.
was a puzzle.
But
It's
the
not
nice
one I
thing
needed
is
to
you
solve.
solved the puzzle now.
Yeah, but it's gonna give me an existential crisis because it's supposed to bring satisfaction, not pain. So like, the need to solve puzzles.
Well, there is some satisfaction. There's a ring.
Yeah, treasure.
Just-
And the greatest treasure of all?
Strength.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. And I'll start like, let's go. Let's get out of the sewers,
Now,
guys.
in that alcove, there is a bit of a nest
Oh.
that it's kind of made in there in the past hour or so that it's been down here.
Take my spear and kind of poke around the nest.
Alright, who are you by
Yeah.
yourself or?
I'll help out.
I would like to ritually cast detect magic, so I will stand in the corner
For 11 minutes.
for 11 minutes.
Okay. So,
11 minutes!
so you three go ahead and roll for your investigation.
It's a joke for the show.
yeah.
You wouldn't understand.
18.
You don't watch that show with us.
18.
25.
Nice.
22.
Alright, you all kind of like start poking around in there. The first thing you guys find though is a bit disturbing. It's a body, a human body,
Oh.
but not a fresh one. It looks like it's been down here for a few weeks. So it was not killed by the Rat King.
Does it
It's
look?
been gnawed upon by rats, but you would expect that from
Yeah, from being down here.
being down here.
Does it look familiar?
Unfortunately, not in its current state.
Okay.
I mean, it has like no face or anything. It's mostly just gooey skeletal remains with bits of like cloth and clothing left on
So
it.
it's not a recent death.
Okay.
You do find a pouch that was probably with it that contains 20 platinum in it
Holy fuck.
and a small scroll case. It's like a really small one, about yay long, like really tiny and thin and silver and sealed with wax.
Hey, yeah, Kurt, look at the scroll we found.
Does the case look, well,
She's like, oh.
Too many people.
yeah. Is there anything written on the case itself?
No, it's
Or
just a
small silver one?
silver tube.
Okay.
I think you're like,
You also find in all of that, you find a few other bits of coins and jewelry and stuff. Looks like that the rats have kind of scrounged up from things that people had just kind of lost in the storm drains and stuff like that. You find I'll just say with the jewelry and the coins and everything, you find maybe 45 gold worth of stuff.
Any pieces of amethyst?
No.
Did my spell go off?
Yes.
Okay.
The tetrahedron glows. The opalescent ring glows. And the silver scroll case glows.
Okay.
Yeah, alright, I think we've got everything we came for down here.
You wanna open that scroll up?
Not here.
It might get dirty.
I
You
want
guys are feeling pretty gross and that feels kind of, yeah.
and here it says it's magical, so I want to identify it before I open it.
It could be cursed. Or it could have another giant animal in it.
We can do that back at my shop.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So you guys make your way back out through the hole in the wall of your basement and in there, and you're kind of concerned with just leaving this big opening into the sewer into the
Oh,
your
yeah.
basement.
No, it's gonna be like a high priority. I need to get this covered up.
So
I don't like having this just.
but you guys are very gross. So you kind of all split up to go get baths and stuff, and also to have your wounds checked because death is a very likely outcome of wounds down in the sewer.
Mr.
You've
Double
seen the
infection over
effect
here.
of how it works out. So it's a major concern to get yourselves cleaned up
Can
and
I
checked out.
Luke's now gonna
do that kind of check?
Huh?
Can I do that kind of check with my healer
Not
stick?
till after you're cleaned up.
Okay. I can help with the stones to fix the hole in the wall.
That would be much
We just
appreciated.
have to get the bricks and
Let's go get cleaned up a bit.
Yeah,
and
that's
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys split up and go out and actually go back to your respective lodgings and everything so that you can bathe, dress your wounds, get clean clothing, all that kind of stuff, and then you're fairly exhausted but also slightly excited. So do you guys meet back up at the Wolf and Shepherd
Yeah.
later on in the evening?
Get some food and then,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Alright, so like I said, a few hours later after you've cleaned up and dressed wounds, now that you managed to, all four of you meet back up at the Wolf and Shepherd.
Feeling
There
much like
is
us.
a slight buzz in the tavern at the moment as people are kind of just enjoying food and drink and having a fairly merry time in the evening. But as you come in, a couple of people that are locals see the four of you come in and they move out of the table that is kind of yours.
We frequent it so much, it's our table.
It has our names.
And they were getting ready to leave
Oh,
anyway,
that's
so
funny.
they just kind of get up and leave.
Much appreciated.
Side note, with the town, it's kind of a smaller town, right? It's not like a big city.
It is a fairly small town, yeah.
So if somebody traveling with that amount of money on a 20 platinum would be a big deal, right?
If they made it to town.
Yeah, it's,
Or unless they were a thief themselves.
yeah.
Sure had an eventful day.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry I ended up causing you all this trouble, though I think
Are you
some
kidding?
of you, yeah,
That was an amazing adventure.
enjoyed it more than you should have.
It was an interesting experience.
I won't deny that. And we ended up with a rather interesting ring, but
Yeah. While they're talking, I'm gonna pull out the 100 gold piece pearl that I have and ritually cast identify. I'll do the ring first.
Okay. You cast the spell, and the ring actually pops up as fairly intense.
Well, I'm doing identify.
Yeah, intense magic. It is, you know that it is a ring of the moon court. It is actually blessed by an archfey. It provides the wearer who's attuned to it +2 to dexterity. And once a day they can cast enhance ability, but only cat's grace from it on themselves.
Ooh, dibs.
Once a day.
Okay. It's definitely a fey ring. Ring of the Moon Court. Makes you faster and you can cast Cat's Grace once a day.
Well, that seems like a ring that might be useful for me. I'm not really one for magic, but if it's able to help me, then I could try using it. Unless someone else would like to.
And then I will identify the scroll case.
Okay.
Which of the courts is it that's the bad guys? There's like a good court and there's a bad court, right? With the fairies?
Where's court?
Does I know anything about that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Give me,
There's like the summer court and the winter court.
either Arcana or History.
Dresden
Like
files
that.
as the winner.
I'm good at Arcana.
Of
Yeah.
the Seelie or the unseelie.
Yeah.
Depending on your point of view.
I'm not really sure. It's not, you were told a lot of stories and stuff as a
Just kind of.
kid, but
I know that the courts exist. Yeah, I got nothing, Kira.
how about you, Kurt? Do you want to make a check?
What kind of check did you say it was?
Either
Arcana.
Arcana or History?
I want to make a history check. I want to see if I know.
Okay.
A total of 20 on Arcana.
Yeah, there's actually several different courts. The broad courts are the summer and winter courts. Neither one is particularly good or evil, though the summer court you tend to have more good in the summer court than you do in the winter courts. But there's also sub-courts that kind of fall into all of that. Like under the winter court, you have the nightmare court, which is bad. It's kind of like a sub-court of your darker fey creatures. The moon court is more neutral in its overall thing. It's like more of a trickster spirit types that enjoy just having fun in the moonlight kind of thing. Not necessarily good or bad, but just kind of their own thing.
Tricksters.
Yeah.
Alright. What's his face? Punk?
And then I go and I try ritually cast Identify on the scroll case.
What'd you get on your history check?
4. That's why I was just listening. She's pretty sure there's something. She'll ask Nana McFarland about it.
The scroll case itself has basically like it requires a command word to open, or else it damages the contents of what's inside.
Okay.
So you have the command word if you want to.
Alright.
Alright, so you use the command word and pull it open, and out slides a tiny curled up piece of parchment. And on the inside it has a very simple little dialogue on it. It says, "The deed is done. It has been put in place. Wheels are in motion. Soon the gate will open."
I assume you read this to us.
Soon, yeah. But it
It
doesn't
is
have,
in Elvish.
it is in Elvish,
Okay, so I can read it.
but it doesn't,
Very
there's no
generic.
names, no identifying marks or symbols.
That could be something as simple as a town gate, or something as crazy as, I don't know, something bigger than that.
Well,
I
There's
don't
a
know,
lot
that's just, it's a
of
weirdly
grates and
nebulous.
gates in the sewer.
That body was old, like the person could be like dead 5 years ago old, right?
No, not quite that long.
Not
You
quite
guess
that
probably with it since probably 2 to 3 months.
Okay. I should take this to Azariel.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery surrounding that for sure. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I
Here's
think
the
we should take it to
important
the
part.
sergeant.
Here's 5 platinum for each of us.
Oh, this will go a long ways towards my basement.
And I guess since he can make the most use of it, does anyone care if Vic gets the ring?
Yeah, if anyone else would like it, then we'll
I think Vic should get the ring and Kurt should get the scroll case.
I mean, yeah, the scroll case is. It's
I feel
basically
like-
just a magically sealed
But
case.
you can put your
It's
diary in it.
reusable though.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hold a very big thing, but if you
Yeah.
just had something that you needed to write down and keep it secret.
I'll fill out a report for your sergeant that we found the body.
Yeah, we need to do that.
That way we're following the proper channels.
Unless you guys need me at all, I'm gonna go get to work on the hole in my basement. I feel like that's gonna take some time. Any help would greatly be appreciated too.
I mean, you
but-
should just
What do you
find
do
the
with
mason in
other
the morning.
45 gold?
What's up?
Put it in the communal pot for healing potions.
Okay. Yeah, it's gems and jewelry, so I will put in 10 gold and take out a pretty bracelet. So, that way that's enough to buy 1 potion.
Yep.
Okay, who wants to carry the potion?
I mean,
Well, we haven't bought a
Haven't
potion.
done it yet.
Well, no, but it's gonna get bought.
I suppose I can. I gotta go find a mason in the morning anyways to help me with my basement for the building, so
So
I'm
I'll
already
mark
gonna be
this off,
at the shops.
and then you put a potion on your character sheet. Do you have any potions at all? Okay, so you take one of mine, so that way you've got one on you.
So I'll just buy one in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Do you have any potions?
No,
Okay, so we
I
can
can't afford any.
we can buy another one in the morning then. Well, we'd all gotten some potions, right, from the thing. Did you guys mark those on your character sheets?
I don't recall.
No.
I don't
Didn't
recall.
we
There's
find
4
the-
potions.
There was 4 potions? Okay.
I mean, 50 gold each, basically.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
I brought the 50 gold part, but I remember the potions.
That's when the math was off earlier when we were talking about gold tools.
Okay, so you're taking that one. Command word to open it. Did you catch all of the deed is done?
Yeah, it's been put in place and the gate will open.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't want to erase it if someone else didn't already have it. All right. You've got the opal ring.
So we can get the lean court.
What time of day is it at this point?
Late afternoon, early evening.
I missed it if you already said it, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go talk to the stonemason. We can get the materials together.
It won't be tonight.
Yeah, I'd rather do that in the morning, though I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
be
then let's
fine
go talk to the
today.
sergeant. That way everything's still fresh in our memories.
Alright, so you make your way towards the constable's office to talk to the, basically whoever's on duty in the guardhouse. And walk in and you see this kind of a deep, kind of auburn colored hair young woman sitting behind the desk, helmet kind of sitting on the desk off to the side of her. She's got like a plate of food as she's kind of eating like a kind of a late dinner as she's looking over the report. You recognize her. She's Sariel. She is a half-elven soldier. She's not originally from here, but she has recently been assigned here, say in the past like 6 months. And she's unfortunately been assigned duties as night watch captain for the past, pretty much since she's been here.
Sariel? Is that good?
Yeah, Sariel.
I'm sorry. Is that how you pronounce that? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Um,
What do you need?
Well,
She kind of looks at the roster. You're not on duty.
I know some circumstances led me to the sewers today, and my friends and I, we found a body
Oh,
It was gross.
in the sewers.
in the sewers. And kind of guessing where we were from, like in my head, falling in the
Underneath the
streets.
junction by the old Dan Foster's house.
That one. There was T right there. But the weirdest thing wasn't the body. It was the note that we found with it. A rough hand over, like a rough
Translation.
of what I had heard Kurt read out. I scribbled it down as he was reading it.
Looks at it. Like, this is.
I just wanted to pass it along. Maybe if you want to pass it up the chain, maybe the people at the fort want to know, or
It wasn't
you
a
can
local.
pass it on here. She kind of rummages through the desk and pulls out a couple of pieces of parchment. Write down all the details that you can think of on here, and then we'll submit it on up. And witness.
I was there.
She
I
gives
checked
you
the
another
body.
piece of parchment. Like, you do the same. She kind of points to a series of like desks and chairs and stuff off to the side. And she kind of tosses you an apple off of her plate, and she kind of picks it up and goes and puts it in like a wash bin.
cool. Alright. So I'll fill the report out and double check Kira's before we turn it in.
Front and back page, she wrote a lot.
Not double spaced like actually.
Crunched in there.
She takes the forms from you, she kind of reads it over, kind of looks at the two of them. Okay. Yeah, and she kind of takes and puts it inside rolls it up, puts it into like a little like cheap scroll case, along with the copied down bit of information about the note. Puts it in there, and her own little note about where you said the location of the body was, and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's about it.
All right.
Oh, we killed a lot of rats.
There was a lot of that.
There was more than a dozen rats, and we killed them. Big rats.
Well, that's good. That's good. She kind of goes over and flips through like a roster, takes a quill and kind of marks off some names. Like, that means we won't have to send that patrol in tomorrow.
Yeah. There's probably 20 rats that we killed down there.
It's kind of
It's good.
badasses. We're adventurers.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Now, I'm going to admit, this note that you gave me is pretty vague.
I think it's in code.
It may be. You guys are adventurers, so if you guys look into it, then you guys do that. But I'll pass it up the chain, and we'll see where that goes.
Oh, one last detail. The note was originally written in Elven.
So this is not the actual note.
No,
No,
that's not.
it's the translated. I don't speak
Okay.
Elven, so my brother does, so he wrote it down for us.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, later perhaps bring by the original note, and we can have some people look over it, see if there's anything.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the sewers, so it's kind of gross.
That's okay. We go into sewers all the time. Ask him.
Fine,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And kicks back and with a tankard of water, kind of looks at it.
Water.
I would like to make a sleight of hand check. I would like to steal Lukien's apple.
Okay. Roll slide of hand. You roll your perception.
10.
9.
She slyly takes your apple.
That kind of letter.
Meanwhile, what are you two doing?
I would have wanted to go. Azario would still be up this time of day, right?
Wizards
Yeah.
don't sleep.
Yeah. I want to go and bring him the note,
Okay.
just to see if he knows anything about what they could be talking about.
Alright. Okay. What about you?
I would take the time to learn how to attune to the ring. Put something at least like just a giant slab of wood or something over the whole.
Push a bookshelf.
Just
over there.
literally something to cover it, and then when I get done with those, probably go meet up at what is it, the Shepherd and the Wolf? Wolf and the Shepherd?
Okay.
The inn that we all agreed to eventually show up at.
Alright, so you go, and as you get to the tower, you go in through the front and make your way up to the chambers that Azario basically has for his personal living space. It's basically like a parlor area, there's like a little side library, and then there's like a bedroom that's kind of off to the side. As usual, you go in there and you find that he is sitting in a rather tall, straight-backed, heavy wooden chair with some cushions on it behind his desk. Papers and books and stuff kind of scattered out in front of him, and he has this odd-shaped skull sitting in front of him. It's vaguely bird-like, but also kind of similar to a bear skull that you've seen before.
Okay.
And he's just kind of looking at it, and he's going through some notes and stuff, and then he pulls out like some various bits of like a crystal rod that's wrapped in like copper and some different things, and he mutters some words, nothing happens, and he kind of does some other things, and he looks up at you, he's like, It's a little late for studies.
Well, Vic got the little puzzle box open, let loose something. We took care of it, but in doing so we came across a corpse in the sewers that had a cryptic note that seems a little ominous, and I'll pass the note over.
Takes it over, looks at it. Flips it over, flips it back.
The body seemed like it was a few months old, so
Oh. I recognize this perfume. And this handwriting. This was written by Christine Vanderhorn.
is that a name that's familiar to me?
Yeah, she's a half-elven woman who owns and runs the other inn in town, known as the Carriage House. She's kind of lives an upper-class kind of lifestyle, and she runs a
Hence the
very
perfume.
quiet upper-class style of inn.
Smells like her.
That's very strange.
He's like, then
Wonder
he
what-
flips it over. It's kind of weird though, isn't it?
Like in what way?
Well, it doesn't really say anything. It just kind of says the same thing different ways, repeatedly.
It says it more than once.
Well, things are in place, wheels are in motion,
Hmm.
yada yada yada. But it doesn't actually say what has been done. It's very peculiar. And he hands it back to you.
Okay. But
You said you got this out of the sewers? It's awfully clean.
well, it was in a magical scroll case.
Oh.
And I pull out the silver scroll case.
He kind of looks at it, he's like, now that is clever. He's like, may I? Hands out the kind of a clawed red hand and takes it very delicately, kind of runs it through his fingers, looks inside, taps it. Very nice. You should hold on to this, it may come in handy one day.
But yeah,
This is definitely something I have seen before though, in my younger days, wandering adventurer. I've seen these used by a variety of different types of spies.
yeah.
The plot fucking thickens.
Usually easy to conceal. If you don't know what you're doing, you damage the contents, so
It's
messages.
unreadable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I would have to say that I don't know Christine to be involved in anything, but you never know.
yeah.
This town has plenty of secrets.
I don't know if it makes any difference, but I would think that you would have the letter as I read it, then gave it to you and never really asked for it back.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something you'd want to show me, but I would assume you would have that too.
Yeah, I guess we do have a letter that was in the trapped puzzle box.
Oh,
It was
really?
like a prank between a couple people. It
No.
has some names, Elvish, I believe. Like a Taltherin and an Aelithin.
Talserin.
I do keep the puzzle box.
Yes, Talserin. That's one of the names of a noble lord in the Elvish lands.
Ah.
The other name I can't honestly say that I recognize.
Well, it's a long ways away, but we did find it on that shipwreck, so.
It's curious.
Curious, and
It's definitely very far from the Elvish lands. My guess is it was on a ship leaving from here to go to there.
Yeah, so you never would have received it, and this person maybe it was on the ship or maybe it was just being sent.
Perhaps. Might be interesting to look further into. There is an actual whole section of the library on the Elvish courts if you wish to look into it. It's very droll and boring work.
He loves it.
Not tonight, of course, but it's definitely a curious thing I might look into.
Speaking of looking into, as he sets the skull aside, finally deciding to make eye contact with you, I will be leaving on one of my many excursions. I won't bore you with any details, but I may be gone for a week or more.
Put that in your happy planner.
Is there anything you wish me to do in the meantime, or?
I'm going to lock up my study and entrust you with the key.
Uh-oh.
However, as you know, only in emergencies. You know where the emergency cabinet is, should something truly dangerous and terrible happen. You know to go in and remove the orb. And you will be able to contact me and let me know that something has gone awry.
Like, I think there's just a bunch of healing potions in that cabinet too.
But remember, only if it's something you can't handle yourself.
Of course. All right. Well, again, thank you for indulging my questions. And
Would you care to make a trade?
trade for what?
Well, I actually kind of have a use for that little scroll case that you have. I would be willing to say trade you, opens up the desk drawer and pulls out a scroll case, a different one. Trade you this for it.
Oh, do that.
Inside check, come on, man.
Someone takes the little
It's
scroll
just a
case
spell
and
scroll, but
puts it in the thing. Yeah, it's a first level spell scroll of your choice.
okay.
Ooh, okay, that's fine. That's.
You wanted to insight check.
I mean, come on.
He just kind of opens up a desk drawer and sets it aside for now.
I bet he changes the password.
All right. So we thank him again, and I head out back to the inn.
Alright. So, the four of you have rejoined one another back at the inn. What are your plans at this point going forward?
I'm lunch on the apple. And I talk with Vic about what supplies we're gonna need to patch the hole in his wall.
I'm going to indulge that conversation, but it's quite obvious I have no clue what I'm talking about
I'm
pretty
pretty
quickly.
sure we should just demo the rest of the wall
Whoa.
and make that like an accent wall of all the
Whoa.
same stone.
Kira,
Or
it
you
doesn't-
can patch it and
It
then we
doesn't
can
need to be
paint it.
complicated.
I'm thinking taupe.
I just need a hole cover. It needs
Well-
to be a wall.
Yeah, we can do that.
No,
but
no,
we
no.
could also accent wall. It would really pop.
So what did you find out, Kurt?
Well, the scroll appears to have, or at least been made to look like it was written by Christine Vanderhorn.
Is that a name I recognize?
She's the lady that runs the other inn.
Oh, right.
The less better inn.
I have a personal bias towards this inn, so it's fine. I may have learned from him.
Yeah. And then,
So does that mean she's a wizard? I mean,
no, like anyone can use that scroll case, you just need to know the command word to open it safely without destroying the contents. And then the name is Talsarin, is a noble lord from the Elven lands.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting that it ended up here then.
Well, I think it was leaving here. I think whoever sent it was sending it from here.
Is it actually written in red, or is that?
Yes.
Okay. Can I make a medicine check to see if it's written in blood? Sure. 6, natural 1.
You're pretty sure it is definitely written in blood. Probably the blood of
Okay.
demons.
This
Maybe even
was-
dragons.
This was definitely written
Demon
in blood, so.
Demon dragons. That's what it
And what kind of check was that? Because I do not trust Kira.
It's a medicine check.
Medicine 7.
You might be right.
Look, it's red, but it's drier red in some
Or you
spots,
could do an
like blood
insight and
does.
see if she actually knows what she's talking about.
I don't have high wisdom. I wouldn't think the insight. I
But
think
he's-
you're on to, no, that can't be right.
But your teacher recognized the name, right?
Right.
So this person is alive. So maybe that shipwreck wasn't as old as we thought it was.
Well, elves live for a very long time.
That's true. These are all facts.
How long do you live for?
Well, me personally, I'm not gonna live as long as most elves. I'm only like part elf, but
Wait. Part elf, part what?
human?
Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
you never know.
No, you have to ask.
You never know.
You have to ask.
I just want to double check.
Okay.
You could be like half elf, half.
You could be half
No.
dragon, but your appearance like takes after like your elf side.
Could be half.
I've seen half. What if you were half elf, half halfling? What would the third be?
I think that you would just be really hairy in the feet department.
Yeah, probably.
Not that there's anything wrong with hairy feet.
Just like starts playing with a puzzle toy, waits for the conversation to get back on point.
What if you're a half-wit?
Ooh.
That's a good question. Half elf, half wit.
Hey.
Well, what's a wit? Oh,
Not something.
she gets it.
Alright, so we definitely.
So we're gonna
need
go to
do-
the Elven lands, right?
I don't know about that,
Whoa.
but we definitely need to do some.
We should
digging
go
around.
check the other place out. See what's going on over there.
I'm not gonna tip well.
Oh, we're not gonna tip it all. This is-
Ooh,
There's
that's
definitely
dark.
a lot of mystery going on here. And I think something's happening underneath our noses that we clearly have no clue about.
Oh, I guess it has a fragrant scent, whatever it is.
What does? She starts sniffing everything.
It's that the letter had her perfume.
Is
That
it
way
good
he was
perfume?
able to.
Smells pretty nice.
Nice. I wanna get perfume. That'd be cool.
You can do that in the morning. When we go shopping anyways.
Just don't use the stuff that you put on the bodies when they're in open caskets. It
Oh,
reminds me
come
too
on.
much of, you know.
I think it's nostalgic. Yeah.
Little-
It has a certain
little formaldehyde behind the ears.
je ne sais quoi.
No, not the formaldehyde. Something to make the corpses
Another
not
drink,
smell as
please.
bad.
The embalming fluid that's scented. Now you have
Lavender formaldehyde.
the flavor Botox.
I need more drinks.
I would also like another drink.
Alright, so soon drinks are delivered to your table, and things have kind of started to quiet down. There haven't been a lot of people that have come into town recently, so there's not a lot of non-locals, and most of the locals at this point are starting to kind of shift out and go home.
Early morning tomorrow. Yep, see you later, Claude.
Yeah, basically.
So it's about 9 o'clock in the evening, and things are starting to really wind down. Wolf lounges by the hearth that is going fairly strongly at this point, as it gets much cooler in the evenings than it does during the day, especially this time of year. Shepherd is kind of going about counting his money box. And there's a handful of patrons at the far end of the bar from where you guys are at. Looks like a young couple, possibly out on a date of some sort.
That's his third date this week.
You see the door kind of swing open and somebody comes staggering in, kind of walks a little ways, staggers towards the bar in kind of a drunkenly fashion, mud caked around his boots. He's tall, broad-shouldered, he's got a cloak on and the hood is pulled up, so it's kind of hard to make out who it possibly is. But by the gait of this tall, muscular man, he is got to be fairly seriously intoxicated already.
I elbow Kurt to look up from his book and look at the human.
He kind of stumbles forward, stumbles towards the bar a little bit. Hand goes outstretched, and you see that it's stained in something wet. And then he falls to the floor with a heavy thud.
Whoa, whoa!
And that's where we'll pick up next game.
No!